Yo legends! Welcome back to the channel. Grab your headphones and lock in, because today's story is on another level. Want the next chapter? Drop a comment below, and if the legend continues, I'm bringing it straight to you. Disclaimer: I do not claim ownership of this story. All rights belong to the original creators. Note: I'm constantly tweaking the settings to make it as immersive as possible. Naruto, Sunagakure Village, Prosperous Village, Strong People. Chapter 226 Madara, Who Told You Not to Help Me? Chapter 226 Madara, Who Told You Not to Help Me? Madara Uchiha sensed that the connection with the heretic demon was cut off, and then rushed to the cave where the heretic demon was located, but found nothing as expected. Black Zetsu was naturally extremely anxious. If he had known it, he would have cut off the connection between Nagato and the outside demon. Although Uchiha Madara had entered the sixth path, he knew clearly that he could not be Rasa's opponent. Fortunately, Uchiha Madara confirmed that the last place where the heretic demon disappeared was the moon. Black Zetsu knows the passage connecting the earth and the moon, and has also secretly been to the moon. However, to rescue his mother, he needs the chakra of the nine-tailed beasts, and Hemura is still there on the moon, otherwise he would have planned to rescue his mother directly. He walked non-stop through the passage to the moon and found the residence of the Otsutsuki clan. When the torture was ineffective, the Sharingan was used to force an elder of the Otsutsuki clan to come to the altar. At this time, a large amount of the power of the moon was infused into Kaguya's body, and the blessing of the Earth Guardian was transferred to Kaguya. Kaguya, whose strength was less than one-third, was unable to resist. Seeing his mother struggling, Black Zetsu immediately came to rescue. But his strength was only an ordinary cage level, and he was knocked away by Temuri's big iron fan. Damn it, Luo Sha, stop now and let go of mother. Haiju shouted loudly, but no one paid any attention to him. Luo Sha glanced at it, and then realized that Uchiha Madara had actually stepped into the sixth level. Although his aura was unstable, he was indeed a genuine sixth level. But Uchiha Madara exudes the aura of Yuji Cave, so is he cooperating with White Snake Sage because he controlled Longdi Cave? He broke through to the sixth level. Everyone's faces looked a little strange for a moment. They looked at Shuda, who nodded. As the consciousness of the earth, no one can sense the changes on the earth better than Shuda. When Yuji Cave was controlled by Madara and became the new lord of the Holy Land, Shuda felt it. But at that time, Rasa was busy resurrecting Kaguya, so she didn't tell Rasa. Besides, it is actually a good thing for Uchiha Madara to become the master of Yuchi Cave. You must know that Rasa's intention at the beginning was to make Kaguya the master of Yuchi Cave, because the three holy places are the holy places of the earth. Once he becomes the master of the holy places, he will be naturally bound to the earth and become the guardian of the earth. However, because the White Snake Immortal was afraid of death, he failed to transfer the portal infinitely, so he chose the moon as the next best option. The effect of the moon as a holy place born later is not as good as the three holy places. The three great immortals actually became the masters of the Holy Land through trickery. They were not rejected by the will of the world solely because they were traitors. If they could replace the three gods and assume the responsibilities of gods, then they could also be recognized by the will of the world. However, they only want to hide in the Holy Land and become immortals, and act opportunistically as spokespersons, so they have never been able to become the true masters of the Holy Land. After leaving the Holy Land, their strength fell below the level of the sixth path. Madara is different. Madara himself is a middle-aged boy, just at Tsundere. His ideal is peace in the ninja world. It had not manifested just now, but now it has begun to change towards the mentality of the guardian of the earth. If Black Zetsu is careful, he will find that when Madara came to the headquarters of the Otsutsuki clan, although he acted roughly, he did not kill anyone. He was no longer the Madara who was once so decisive that he could sacrifice countless people for the sake of the ninja world. Seeing that no one was paying attention to him, Haiju immediately said to Madara, Madara, take action quickly. Now that Luo Sha can't take action, it's the best time to attack. He is not strong enough, and the only person present who can turn the situation around is Uchiha Madara. However, Haizetsu was destined to be disappointed. Madara just glanced at Luo Sha and the others and knew that Luo Sha and the others were doing something serious. Let alone the current self. Even in the past, he would not have done a sneak attack, otherwise he would have cooperated with Konoha long ago, and they cooperated with the ambush of Rasa last time. Uchiha Madara shook his head. Black Setsu, although I don't know what Rasa is doing, but I think he is doing it for Kaguya's good. Please be patient. Haiju almost spat out a mouthful of old blood. And Yikang and others, who had been on guard since Uchiha Madara entered, were also surprised that Uchiha Madara didn't take advantage of the situation. Now Master Luo Sha's work has reached the most critical moment and cannot be disturbed. If Uchiha Madara takes action, they will naturally not sit still and wait for death. They had just watched the battle between Rasa and Otsutsuki Tonri, and they were already itching to know that they were only a hair away from the 6th path level, and the battle with Rasa was also forced by Rasa-sama. Not to mention that Shin and Jugo couldn't defeat a team of more than 3 people. Of course, the nature of the competition between them is limited to discussion, not a life and death battle. But judging from the intensity of the battle between Lord Rasa and Tonri Otsutsuki just now, there is absolutely no problem for the 5 of them to win together. So even if Madara now shows 6-level strength, a few people are not afraid. They are not baby birds that need protection from Lord Luo Sha, but eagles that soar high. On the contrary, Madara's refusal to take action made several people feel a little regretful. Haiju was anxious but had no choice. In fact, Haiju had vaguely noticed signs that something was wrong, but he just didn't have time to delve into it. Just now in the Otsutsuki clan, Black Zetsu was going to go on a killing spree because of Otsutsuki's lack of cooperation, but was stopped by Uchiha Madara. In the past, Uchiha Madara would not care about these little things. I didn't know that Madara had changed his identity as the guardian of the earth, and thought that Madara wanted to stay out of the matter. That being the case, don't blame me! Black Zetsu pretended to leave in frustration, and Uchiha Madara didn't pay attention. However, when Black Zetsu walked behind Uchiha Madara, he suddenly turned around, and his black arm pierced Uchiha Madara's heart. Ju, what are you doing? Uchiha Madara was puzzled. Just because I don't help you save your mother, you will kill me after I die. No one can help you. And after being promoted to the 6 paths level, even if the heart is penetrated, it can be recovered with the power of the 6 paths. It is not that easy for a 6 path leveler to want to die. Uchiha Madara immediately activated the power of the 6 paths to repair his heart, but found that he was unable to use the power of the 6 paths. Black Zetsu and Madara slowly merged into one. How can it be? Black Ju smiled and said, Madara, my most powerful power is possession. How could you forget? Of course Madara didn't forget it, but he was at the 6th level. How could he still be possessed? Haha, Madara, who told you not to help me? As a mother's child, you shouldn't know that I only have the superficial strength. Black Zetsu's combat power is indeed not strong. But as the incarnation of Kaguya's will, and Kaguya's will at its peak, what Kaguya gave him was not a strong combat power, because no matter how powerful he was, he would never be the opponent of Hagoromo and Hamiura. Black Zetsu's strongest abilities are stealth and possession. It can be said to be the top enhanced version of White Ju. White Ju can possess people below the physical level, while Black Ju can possess people even at the 6th level. Of course, the 6th level is not something he can control for a long time. Now Madara has begun to regain control of his body, but only a moment is enough. Black Zetsu burned all his power, overwhelming Madara's will in an instant, and the whole person merged into Spotted Body. Then he used his psychic skills to summon the White Snake Immortal. Kiyueyu attacks Rasa, Shin, Jugo and Hamiura. As long as one of them is disrupted, the ritual can be stopped and the mother can be rescued. End of this chapter. Chapter 227. The fight just now was not fun. Come again. Chapter 227. The fight just now was not fun. Come again, but Black must be disappointed. If Madara takes action himself, there is still the possibility of stopping it. Although Haizetsu temporarily controlled Madara's body, his fighting consciousness was not even a bit worse than Madara's, and even the power of the Tao-seeking Jade released was much weaker. Magic Mode XN. Everyone in Sand Hidden Village who can enter the magic mode will enter the magic mode. Yi Kang sent out 3 celestial beings that were not inferior to the Tao-seeking Jade, which offset the 3 Tao-seeking Jade. Kimimaro threw out his backbone to block 2 of them. Gaara sealed 3 of them with placer gold. The last one was sealed by Scorpion with a puppet. Seeing that the Kyudo Jade's attack was ineffective, Haiju immediately spawned a new Kyudo Jade, and at the same time ordered the White Snake Immortal. What are you waiting for? Go attack them quickly and create an opportunity for me to attack Luo Sha. The White Snake Immortal in the form of a big snake. He could tell that Madara was now controlled by Black Zetsu. After all, half of his face was covered with Zetsu's appearance. But I still wanted to make sure Haiju was joking. The control authority that had just been transferred out of Uchiha Cave was resting. After all, the strength had dropped from the 6 paths level to above the shadow level, and the loss was still considerable. As a result, before he could slow down, he was summoned by Madara, who was controlled by Black Zetsu. If Madara hadn't been controlled by Black Zetsu and couldn't open his mouth, White Snake Sage would definitely have expressed his dissatisfaction. As a snake, she is not a good man or woman, and summoning is nothing. But can you distinguish the current situation? You don't object to Haiju's love for playing high-end games, but don't hold me back. Besides, this is no longer a high-end game, this is a dead game. After all, the high-end game is a narrow escape from death. At least there is still a possibility of survival. The current situation is an unsolvable situation of 10 deaths and no life. Rasa, Shin, Jugo, and even Otsutsuki Himura! I can't beat even 1, let alone 4, not to mention the 4 of them. There were at least 4 or 5 people who were in magic mode who were stronger than themselves, and those who were weaker than themselves were not much weaker. I can also share the burden with you in one-on-one situations. Did you ask me to solve it for you? What a dream! I cooperated with Madara to save my life, not to lose my life. Knowing that Madara can't help himself now, it is indeed Kaguya's will that he can control even 6th level Madara. But it's impossible for me to die with you. After giving Haiju a taunt like, "Are you kidding me?" He wanted to go straight back to the Dragon Cave. However, Haiju did not intend to let the White Snake Immortal go, and immediately ordered the White Snake Immortal to participate in the battle through a contract. White Snake Sage's body froze, and he reduced his psychic contract authority to the minimum in order to win Uchiha Madara's trust. But that was out of his understanding and trust in Uchiha Madara. The dignity of a strong man would definitely not allow him to die. He never imagined that Haiju would now control him. The oppression of his soul and the powerful power of the contract forced the White Snake Immortal to participate in the battle. He was no longer at the 6th level and could not release the tailed beast Jade, but the White Snake Sage still opened his mouth and spit out a large mouthful of poisonous mist. However, it was immediately blown away by the combined force of Maki and Temuri's wind release. The White Snake Immortal cursed in his heart. It seemed that he would die here today if he didn't use his backup plan. With the cunning and suspicious character of the White Snake Sage, it was impossible for Uchiha Madara to control life and death. His soul felt cramped, and he forcibly terminated the contract with Uchiha Madara. Then he whipped his tail towards Uchiha Madara, who was controlled by Black Zetsu. Without noticing, Haiju was sent flying into the wall. The White Snake Immortal spit out a large mouthful of blood and then fled to the ground while everyone was still in a daze. Forced termination of the contract naturally requires a price. The current White Snake Sage is very weak and can no longer return to Uchiha Cave, because the current owner of Uchiha Cave is Uchiha Madara, who has terminated the psychic contract and completely severed the connection with Uchiha Cave. But for the White Snake Immortal, as long as he lives, the current situation is too dangerous. White Snake Immortal, how dare you? The successive lack of cooperation also completely angered Haiju. It doesn't matter if others can't take it down for a while, but I can't control you, a snake that bereaved my family, right? Arriving in front of the White Snake Immortal in an instant, the Samsara eye rotated. The White Snake Immortal froze in place, his eyes changed into the shape of the Samsara eye and was forcibly controlled by Haiju. Everyone in Sunagakure village is dumbfounded. Why are you fighting among yourselves? But I can't leave you here to disturb Master Luo Sha. Zai Luo activated the ultimate activity of Zai Tian's breathing technique and kicked Haiju, who was standing on the head of the White Snake Immortal, and the huge White Snake Immortal body out of the altar to the ground. Then Supersonic jumped out. Heikura, Gaara, and Kimimaro followed. After all, Otsutsuki Tonri just missed, and after Murasaki activated her ultimate activity, she became the strongest among them in a short period of time. In Man-Ki, Zai Luo solved it himself. Others also followed to watch the excitement, leaving Zia, Maki, Temari, and Kankuro behind. From beginning to end, of course, Luo Sha did not take any measures and remained calm. However, when Kaguya saw Black Setsu being beaten violently, she struggled violently and tried to help, but it was in vain. Black Setsu was knocked unconscious by Zai Luo's kick, and even almost regained his body by Madara. He quickly stabilized his body and suppressed Madara. Then he angrily activated the 4 Susanus and attacked Murasaki, Heikura, Gaara, and Kimimaro respectively. However, he obviously overestimated the power of Susanoo. The one-man enemy Susanoo was not easy to use at this time. Purple kicked Susanoo to pieces with one blow. Yikang's burning escape burned one. Gaara's golden Gundam shattered one. Kimimaro's skeleton was shattered into pieces. Madara's strength is not weak, but unfortunately under Black Setsu's control, he can't even display half of his strength. In Black Setsu's trance, Murasaki's Shoryu arrived first, followed by Heikura's Black Sun, Gaara's Golden Ray, and Kimimaro's Ashes of Death. Seeing that there was no way to avoid it, Haiju directly blocked the White Snake Immortal in front of him and received a full blow from the 4 Quasi 6th level masters. The White Snake Immortal was first broken half of his body by Ziluo's Risen Dragon, and then was burned by the Black Sun, penetrated by the Golden Light, and finally slowly turned into flying ashes under the ashes of the common killer. His life was about to end, and the White Snake Immortal also regained his consciousness. Looking at Uchiha Madara, he said unwillingly, "You said you would not let me die in front of you." Uchiha Madara sighed, and Black Setsu suddenly felt trembling. Although after becoming the master of Longli Cave, I began to feel disgusted with the White Snake Immortal for some reason, but after all, I broke my promise. Not to mention what is this called a fight under the control of Haiju. People who don't know think that this is how strong I, Madara Uchiha, am. Take back control of your body and repair your broken heart. Then he said to everyone, "I didn't enjoy the fight just now, come again." End of this chapter. Chapter 228 Uchiha Madara is a good teacher. Chapter 228 Uchiha Madara is a good teacher. Black Jew was suppressed, expelled from his body, and turned into a black mud-like shape again and fell to the ground. Madara's momentum instantly returned to its peak, and he looked at everyone lightly. There was no killing intent in his eyes, but more appreciation, feeling that the ninja world had a future. Even he himself didn't know why he had this idea. I had seen the fighting methods of several people as early as Konoha, and experienced it myself when I was just controlled. Very strong. Several people have the means to harm the 6th path level. But that's all, it's still a little bit worse. The 4 of them did not retreat when facing Uchiha Madara. They were able to suppress you for the first time just now, and now they can suppress you for the second time. Xia Luo stood up again and stepped forward. Madara did not underestimate the enemy. Xia Luo's ultimate activity was not inferior to that of the 8 gates of Dunjikai, and in terms of physical skills alone, he was stronger than himself. At this speed, even as a 6th level person, he couldn't avoid it. But if you can't avoid it, don't avoid it. Take a defensive posture and take Xia Luo's leg-sweeping attack. The blocking arm was broken by Xia Luo's kick, and several ribs were also broken, but they were quickly repaired with the power of 6 paths, and Xia Luo's right leg was clamped with a backhand. Your attack is very powerful and I can't catch it, but the recovery power of the 6th path level is almost immortal. If I exchange injuries for injuries, what will you do? Uchiha Madara asked Murasaki. Xia Luo was a little dazed. Master Luo Sha had also told him about this problem, but he didn't take it too seriously. First of all, it didn't take long to perfect the ultimate activity, and the side effects of using the ultimate activity were large, and there were few opportunities for actual combat. Secondly, Murasaki's taijutsu is already the strongest in Sand Hidden Village. Even Kimimura relies more on the strength of his corpse veins to fight head-on. He is not a pure taijutsu expert. There is no one left to teach Silluo about pure taijutsu. He has also learned from the taijutsu of the 5 major ninja villages. Rasas only gives directions, but has already reached the 6th level attack power. Silluo himself has relaxed and lost the motivation at the beginning. When fighting against Rasa, Shin, and Jugo, no one would adopt this method of exchanging injuries for injuries. Xia Luo couldn't give an answer. Seeing that Murasaki was being controlled, the remaining people rushed to support. Kimimero's skeleton Shinigami released Ash Bones, Heikura released Black Sun, and Gaara released Golden Ray. Uchiha Madara's reincarnation eye activates the Sealing Seal, and Ash Killer Bones, Burning Escape Black Sun, and Golden Ray are all absorbed by the Sealing Seal. Before this move, Madara could only absorb the ninjutsu of 1 person before the 6th path level, but after entering the 6th path level, he could already absorb the ninjutsu of 3 people. Stupid! Uchiha Madara scolded. Your ninjutsu does have the ability to hurt the 6th level, but it is based on the 6th level standing still for you to hit. Obviously everyone has such a strong attack power, but there's no cooperation at all. Is this what Luo Sha taught you? Uchiha Madara quite hates the fact that iron cannot become steel. It's simply a waste of your talent. Besides, Silluo is still in my hand. If I had used Silluo to block it just now, would you have attacked me or Silluo? Uchiha Madara's next words were like arrows piercing into the hearts of several people. If Uchiha Madara uses Murasaki as a shield, Murasaki will definitely die. The eyes of the rest of the onlookers were also bulging. Previously, the 4 people from Sunagakure village worked together to suppress the 6th level Uchiha Madara, and once had the upper hand. However, after Madara took control of the body, he still used the same moves. Instead, Madara suppressed the 4 people alone. At this time, Xia Luo seized the opportunity to spin out of Madara's control and distance herself. The 4 of them faced Madara Uchiha again and became solemn. It is indeed one of the 2 legends that oppresses the ninja world. After truly showing his strength, he is not so easy to deal with. Several people couldn't help but think of what Luo Sha said when they were sparring with them a few days ago, and he pointed out their problems. You all have the strength to hurt the 6th path, but the 6th path won't just stand there and let you fight. Xia Luo, although your physical attack is strong, once you use the ultimate activity, you will burn your life. In fact, as long as you use the 7th activity, it is enough to fight against a 6th level master. The ultimate activity should still be used as a sure kill move. It's better to use Kimimero and Yikang. Your Ash Bones and Burning Escapes both have attack damage close to the 6 paths level, but if you can't hit them, that's another story. And Gaara, maybe my father taught you sand gold wrongly. You have what you are best at, instead of just learning from me. How long has it been since you used sand gold and cooperated with Shikaku? You learn from me. No matter how similar you are, it will just become the second me. I want you to be myself more. You also have no cooperation at all in combat. Facing opponents of the same level for a long time, your mentality is too impetuous. Once an opponent appears who can crush you, your weaknesses will be exposed. The words of Luo Sha's teachings were still in their ears. They had indeed committed the mistake of being proud and complacent. Because of their outstanding talents, apart from Rasa in Sand Hidden Village, and even in the entire ninja world, there was no opponent who could cheer them up. Unconsciously, I let myself relax. Facing Uchiha Madara, who could crush several people, he failed without a doubt. Zai Luo deactivated the ultimate activity. As a taijutsu expert who practiced hard, he quickly reflected on himself and found the root of the problem. At the same time, I felt extremely ashamed. If Uchiha Madara had murderous intentions just now, then Murasaki would be dead. Because Metkai defeated the 8-gate Dunja formation, he felt so happy. Zai Luo, you are really unworthy of Master Luo Sha's cultivation. Everyone, we are careless. Under the protection of Master Luo Sha, we have not experienced life and death battles for too long, and we have lost our awe of power. Everyone nodded. Although they didn't know what Madara's intention was, they should be grateful, so let's use their full strength again. They looked at each other and started attacking together. Gaara gave up the Golden Gundam. He had indeed been imitating his father, but not without his own way. Summoning Shukaku in his body, Shukaku's chakra intertwined with Gaara's chakra. Gaara's body was covered with a white chakra coat. There were violet patterns on the coat, and Madatama appeared on the collar between his neck. The tail of a tanuki grows from behind. Shukaku mode is similar to Naruto's Kurama mode. After the transformation of immortal arts, it has become extremely close to the 6th level. Hey, Gaara, this is right. If you don't use my power anymore, I will leave. Shukaku joked. Compared with the vigorous cooperation at the beginning, Gaara now has indeed fallen into the vicious circle of imitating Rasa. I'm sorry, Shukaku. So let's re-establish a deeper bond. He spread his hands and was instantly filled with Shukaku's magnetic field. The magnetic force was suddenly activated, and Uchiha Madara fell rapidly in midair. At this time, Kimimaro also released the state of the skeletal Shinigami and transformed into a sage and changed in the direction of Jugo. After Jugo became the Lord of MT. Maiboku, he was not stingy with his good friend Kimimaro and gave him a lot of blessings and the fighting skills he had once fully recovered. Immortal method, Dance of Early Fern. In conjunction with Gaara's magnetic field, a huge forest of bones spurted out, and Uchiha Madara used the transformation of the Tao Jade as a shield to stop it. Then, the bone forest on the ground changed again, surrounding Uchiha Madara like a flower, and then the petals continued to grow. End of this chapter. Chapter 229 Am I also in the chess game? Chapter 229 Am I also in the chess game? Kang jumped up high, with wings growing out of his back. He was in contact with Zai Yuan for a long time and received Zai Yuan's teachings. Yi Kang's magic mode is infinitely close to Zai Yuan's goddess form. Immortal magic, Scorching Escape and Scorching Sun. Compared to the scale of the red sun and the black sun, the scale of the burning sun is only 1/3, but the heat it emits is the most terrifying. The red sun has the widest burning range, the black sun is the indestructible characteristic of Amaterasu, and the burning sun is the strongest attack after the development of Yi Kang, with the fastest speed and the temperature closest to the sun. Coupled with the burning mouth built by Kimimaro, the power is infinitely amplified. That's interesting. Madara Uchiha praised he originally wanted to use the sealing technique to absorb the seal, but he had just absorbed the attacks of 3 people, and now he has reached the upper limit. Even though I used the Tao-seeking Jade to blockade, in the narrow space, once the burning escape breaks out, I can't completely defend against it. Not only that, as the burning release entered, Gaara once again controlled the sand to seal it outside the bone flower. The next moment Suzanu's second form appeared, the strongest defensive form. The burning sun burst completely, and the bone flower completely closed. There is a sand barrier on the outside and a closed bone flower on the inside, and the power of burning escape is enhanced several times. Occasionally, flames came out through the gaps and fell to the ground. Even from dozens of meters away, the onlookers Jinchuriki could feel the burning pain on their faces. I'm afraid that this blow will wipe out all the bones. However, Gaara and the others' faces were not relaxed. Madara's aura not only did not disappear, but became stronger. The next moment, Susanoo broke through the siege of bone flowers and sand gold. Gaara continued to tighten the sand, and Kimimaro controlled the huge bone to pierce Susanoo. Susanoo was shattered, and Uchiha Madara fell to the side. Half of his body turned black, and he was very embarrassed. But his expression was a little excited. That's right, this attack is qualified. The average 6 paths level can't withstand it. Before he finished speaking, Ziluo activated the ultimate activity again. 1 foot, 2 feet. The attack method learned from Mekge, the air pressure controlled Uchiha Madara. The 7-day breathing technique is stronger than the 8-door Dunja formation in that it can be closed and opened at any time, unlike the 8-door Dunja formation which only blooms overnight. Uchiha Madara was trapped and unable to move, so naturally he couldn't catch Murasaki. But just when Ziluo was about to deliver the final blow to Shoryu, Uchiha Madara suddenly disappeared, and then someone in the air punched him in the face. Not only Murasaki, Kimimaro, Heikura, and Gaara were all hit by the inexplicable attack in the air. Uchiha's nearly crippled body appeared in the distance, the Rin Sharingan on his forehead flickering. I don't know how other 6 paths fight, but if you meet someone from the Otsutsuki clan, I suggest you destroy his eyes first, otherwise you won't know what the ability of his eyes is to awaken. Release the Wheel Tomb Border Prison, attack with 4 complete avatars, and move the body not far away, using the power of the 6 paths to repair the body. However, after repeated attacks, even Madara could not fully recover due to the loss of the power of the 6 paths, and one arm was always scorched black. It was really tricky. Uchiha Madara looked at his arm. There is not much power left in the 6 paths. If a few people control and focus the fire once more, even the 6 paths themselves will have to suffer. The role of the Wheel Tomb Prison is also limited. Although the Wheel Tomb Prison cannot be discovered, its attack power is not strong unless Susan is activated, but Susan cannot suppress a few people. In the next few attacks, several people have found ways to crack it. Although it cannot be sensed, it can be attacked. Kang directly bathed himself in the burning escape. If Lun Tomb Border Prison wanted to attack, he would have to be harmed by the burning release first. Kimimaro controlled the bones to bloom all over his body, and the prison on the edge of the wheel tomb was also unable to get close. Gaara directly controlled the sand to disperse, and the wind-stained body in the air became a living target in an instant. Ziluo simply closed her eyes and deactivated the ultimate activity again. She relied on listening to identify the position. Super strong physical skills often came last and came first. The prison on the edge of the tomb could not be hurt at all. By now, several people and Madara have seen it. 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 he would not be Madara's opponent. But if there are more than 3 people, as long as they risk their lives and pay the price of death, they can still kill Madara. Of course, it's not certain how many of the 3 people will survive. All burials are the most likely outcome. Okay, I think there is no point in fighting. If the fight continues, I can't control it. If you suffer casualties, Luo Sha will probably fight for my life. It was Madara Uchiha who spoke. If you hit yourself again, you won't be able to hold back. The 4 of them were doubtful. They didn't know that Uchiha Madara was no longer the same Madara due to the change of becoming the Lord of the Holy Land. It was the same thing when I started just now. I was basically teaching everyone. How come? I'm very grateful that Banqiao helps me teach the children. Rasa, Shin, Jugo, and Kaguya Otsutsuki appeared not far away. Otsutsuki Kaguya came to the weak Black Zetsu and lifted Black Zetsu up in distress. My child, you have suffered all these years. The muddy Black looked at Kaguya without knowing why. Mother, are you resurrected? But what happened to your appearance? What did they do to you? Did they change your will? There was no way his mother could live in harmony with Rasa and the three former gods. Black Zetsu felt that his mother's will had been modified, just like Uchiha Shisui's other gods. Mother, take me away quickly and I will find a way to restore you. Silly boy, my mother's will has not been changed. Rubbing Haiju with both hands, he gave Haiju his current will. In a ball of light, Haiju condensed into a human form again, but this time there was no resentment from the past. He lowered his head and murmured, "Really, that's what happened. The Lord of the Holy Land does not modify people's will, but guides you to fulfill your responsibilities after giving you the blessing of the Guardian of the Earth. The premise is that you must be responsible. The three great immortals have occupied the Holy Land for many years, but have never been able to fully grasp the power of the Holy Land. This is not simply because they are betrayers, but more because they do not want to take on the responsibility of protecting the Earth. Training Senju Hashirama and contracting with the Sannin of Konoha are always tricky ways. If they really want to protect the Earth, they can also become the true masters of the Holy Land. But they didn't think that Uchiha Madara's recognition came from the fact that he was originally a middle school boy who protected the world. Kaguya's ability to become one was not due to the restrictions of Rasa and others. Coming to Earth and planting a sacred tree, most of Kaguya's strength comes from the sacred tree, which is the Earth. It is already inseparable from the Earth. Although he turned people into white Zetsu, he still hoped to resist the invasion of the Otsutsuki clan. Although his original intention was to protect himself, he was also protecting the Earth, which was different from the three great immortals who stayed away from the incident. Rasa and others forced Kaguya to become the Lord of the Holy Land. They only channeled Kaguya's sense of responsibility and did not make other changes. It's best if Kaguya can change. Otherwise he can only use the last resort. A loving education. Fortunately, Kaguya accepted the inheritance. After all, compared with 1,000 years ago, it was not him who had to deal with Otsutsuki now, but Rasa who was the main force. However, Rasa vaguely discovered a problem, that is, Madara and Kaguya only have 10% authority and 20% authority. Having made such a change, he has obtained 20% of Kaguya's authority, totaling 70% of the Guardian authority. Are you in someone's chess game again? End of this chapter. Chapter 230. Are you a six-path immortal or a system? Chapter 230. Are you the immortal of six paths or the system? Congratulations to the host, you have successfully corrected Kaguya Otsutsuki's will. The authority of the Earth Guardian has been increased by 20%, totaling 70%. Congratulations to the host for successfully convincing Uchiha Madara. Because Uchiha Madara has become the master of Yuji Cave, the authority of Yuji Cave has been increased by 10%, and the authority of the Earth Guardian has been increased to 80%. Congratulations to the host for successfully discovering the final main line, activating the final mission, and the truth of everything! Please ask the host to go to the Pure Land as soon as possible, find the six paths immortal, and complete the final mission. The system prompts that had not sounded for a long time. Luo Sha frowned and unconsciously exuded fighting spirit. Since he entered the 6th level, the system has not appeared for a long time. Apart from the panel still there, it has almost no function, and the available points are already astronomical. Luo Sha's cold face made everyone nervous, especially the fighting spirit exuded. Among the people present, Otsutsuki Kaguya was already considered one of his own. Only Uchiha Madara's position was unclear, but he had no intention of fighting. But since Rasa showed his fighting spirit, the others still looked at Madara Uchiha fiercely. As everyone's eyes focused on him, Uchiha Madara's throat trembled and cold sweat broke out. Are you kidding? I was just playing with your subordinates or giving guidance. I was thanking myself just now. Why did my face change instantly? Even in his best state, he couldn't win, let alone in his current half-disabled state. If you have to choose someone to hate, Haiju is more suitable than you. Even though he had a quarrel with the White Snake Immortal, there was no trace of him left. Unconsciously retreating, Madara was ready to start running through Uchiha Cave at any time. However, Luo Sha calmed down his momentum, looked at the people on guard and the frightened Uchiha Madara, laughed dumbly, and breathed a long sigh of relief. It has nothing to do with Madara, don't be nervous. Uchiha Madara's mouth twitched. Originally, he really wanted to compete with Luo Sha to see who was more qualified to protect the Earth and the ninja world, but now he had to forget about it. With his terrifying fighting spirit, he didn't want to fight him at all. Falling in front of Luo Sha with some hesitation. Seeing Uchiha Madara's right arm still charred, he motioned for Jugo to help. Everyone was promoted to the 6th level through the power of the 6th path. Only Rasa was promoted through electromagnetic power. Although Rasa has been able to convert electromagnetic force into the power of 6 paths after entering the intermediate level of 6 paths, the loss was too great, and even Nagato's body had to be treated with Jugo's help. Jugo received the signal and stepped forward to activate the power of the 6 paths to repair Uchiha Madara's arm. Uchiha Madara was relieved. Since it was not aimed at Uchiha Madara, everyone was even more confused. That terrifying fighting spirit could not be Kaguya. Ma-Jai stepped forward and said, Lord Luo Sha, what was your fighting intention just now? Luo Sha smiled self-deprecatingly. Her fighting spirit and her anger at being fooled were almost the same. He said slowly, it's nothing, I just want to understand something. Then he confirmed to Madara, Madara, have you ever thought about why your mind changed so much? Uchiha Madara and Kaguya are the masters of the Holy Land and the guardians of the earth. Uchiha Madara replied, you mean my transformation? In fact, it is to confirm my true thoughts. I originally wanted to resurrect Kaguya through the infinite moon reading and then achieve peace in the ninja world. After becoming the Lord of the Holy Land, this concept it's just clearer. Otsutsuki Kaguya was apologetic and protected Black Zetsu behind her. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. Zetsu just wanted to save me. I was wrong in the past, but Rasa is actually the right one. In the past, Otsutsuki Kaguya felt that she was an outsider and would not be recognized by the earth. The 3 gods would not fight against the Otsutsuki clan in order to protect themselves, so they carried out the White Zetsu plan, which blocked the goddess's terracotta warriors and horses against Otsutsuki. But now, through the development of Rasa, the ninja world is full of senjutsu, and there are dozens of ninjas who can cause damage to the 6 paths level. And Otsutsuki's god, Otsutsuki Shibaju, disappeared thousands of years ago. Only a few tribesmen came to the earth, and now the lineup is destined to die. Among the 6 paths powerhouses present, Shin, Jugo, Uchiha Madara, Kaguya, Rasa, and the 6 paths sage, Kaguya has realized that her thoughts and actions back then were wrong. Luo Sha was not looking for who was right and who was wrong. He said calmly, there is no need to talk about the mistakes in the past. Now that we have reached an agreement, tell me the location of the Pure Land. I need to talk to the immortal of 6 paths. Today's lineup in the ninja world, Otsutsuki Kinshiki, Otsutsuki Momoshiki, and Otsutsuki Urashiki are here to die. Rasa concealed her true purpose of finding the Sage of 6 Paths. In the eyes of outsiders, with such a strong lineup, the ninja world was enough to resist the invasion from Otsutsuki. It is normal for Luo Sha to want to talk to the immortal of 6 paths. There is no need for the 2 of them to fight to the death. Otsutsuki Kaguya said, in that case, I will go with you. Otsutsuki Hamura, who was in his soul state, also followed suit and said, I'll go too. Luo Sha said, if you want to reminisce about old times, you can do it anytime. If it's business, let me go. Kaguya and Hamura had no choice but to give up. Ziyun said, but you go alone, don't worry, with my current strength. It's impossible for the Six Paths Immortal to still want to kill me, and there are many things I have to ask him personally. Just tell me. Shu Da could only say, okay, then I'll tell you. After telling Luo Sha about the entrance of the Pure Land in the ninja world, Luo Sha said goodbye to everyone and came to the meter altitude of the ninja world. With the explosion of Six Paths level strength, there was a ripple in the air and an entrance opened. Luo Sha entered, and the old Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the sage of Six Paths, opened his eyes slightly. You're here? Your strength is pretty good, but it's a pity that you came a little early. Luo Sha shook her head slightly. But I think it's a little late. The sage of Six Paths, Otsutsuki Hagoromo, or the village rich people strong system? Sage Otsutsuki laughed loudly. It seems that you have discovered it after all. Congratulations to the host for successfully activating the final main mission, finding Sage of Six Paths, and defeating him. The sound is exactly the same as the system prompt. You are indeed the system. So am I always being controlled by you? The conjecture was confirmed, and he was indeed a chess piece of the Six Paths. The emergence of the system, the purpose of the mission, and the upper limit of the Six Paths level. I was deliberately guided step by step to obtain the authority of all the guardians of the earth and become the new guardian of the earth. It was indeed the arrangement behind the scenes by the Immortal of Six Paths. With the recognition of the Immortal of Six Paths, part of the power in Luo Sha's body was withdrawn and returned to the Immortal of Six Paths. At the same time, Luo Sha felt that the system had completely disappeared from her body. The panel and data are gone, but the ability to be improved by the system is still there. Haha, are you confused? Luo Sha, as a time traveler, you can accept it easily, right? I just said that you have activated the final mission. Find me and defeat me. Defeat me, then you will know all the truth. If not, then please go to hell. Who asked you to find it one step ahead? Liu Dao, who was sitting cross-legged, stood up, his momentum exploded, and he spun the Dao-seeking jade, holding a tin stick in his hand, pointing at Luo Sha, and spoke indifferently. End of this chapter. Chapter 231. You are qualified to know everything. Chapter 231. You are qualified to know everything. Unexpected showdown. Luo Sha instantly turned on the Placer Gold Chakra mode, and then the Placer Gold Chakra transformed into blue electric light, and the surrounding air crackled with arcs of electricity. Electromagnetic chakra patterns. The golden tin rod in his hand turns into an electromagnetic tin rod. A circle of electric magatama appeared around the neck. The 9 gold placer jade became the electromagnetic jade. The Immortal of Six Paths inadvertently came closer, crackling, electromagnetic early warning, and gravity activated instantly. The air was distorted visibly to the naked eye, and the Six Paths Immortal was also affected. However, the power of the Six Paths itself also includes gravity and repulsion, but the conditions and methods for triggering the two are different. The Six Paths Immortal adapted to Luo Sha's electromagnetic force almost instantly. Converted gravity mode. Use the power of Six Paths to activate the gravity mode to cancel each other out. But even a moment's delay would be fatal to a 6th-level expert. Luo Sha turned the electromagnetic scepter into an electric dragon and entangled the Six Paths Immortal. The high-voltage electric shock was activated. In a burst of lightning, the Six Paths Immortal's Susanoo opened. Even the Six Paths level lightning could not destroy the Six Paths Immortal's Susanoo. The Immortal of Six Paths was a little disappointed. Luo Sha, I thought there was something special about your ability to reach the 6th level of magnetic escape, but it turns out it's just this level. But if you do this, you will be sorry for my training of you. The 9 Tao-seeking jade behind the Six Paths Immortal expanded together, flew into the air, and then attacked Luo Sha. Luo Sha did not exchange trash talk with the Six Paths Immortal who. He was only an intermediate Six Paths, but the Six Paths were an advanced Six Paths. After losing the system, The blessing of national fortune could no longer be used, but the blessing of the Earth Guardian could still be used. It's just that the Six Paths have been deliberately trying to make themselves the complete guardian of the Earth, but Luo Sha doesn't want to activate this blessing. But obviously not turning it on won't work. Turn on the blessing, and your strength will be infinitely close to the 6 advanced levels. Then the 3 Tao-seeking Jade formed a group, rotating each other, and a large amount of electromagnetic force gathered. Take the move, Immortal Technique, Railgun. 3 electromagnetic cannon blasts were fired, one of which directly offset the expansion of the 6 Paths seeking Tao Jade. Another shot hit the 6 Paths Sage Susanoo and cracked, and the last shot penetrated directly through the Susanoo and hit the 6 Paths Sage's body. Become. Luo Sha clenched her fist. It was true that the Immortal of 6 Paths was very strong, but he shouldn't underestimate the enemy so much. We are both at the 6th path level. Even if I am worse than you, there will not be such an insurmountable gap. Moreover, the power of my railgun is not weaker than that of the 6th path level. Compared with others who are promoted to the 6th level through the ultimate power of Yin-Yang Dun, Luo Sha is promoted to the 6th level through electromagnetic force. In terms of attack, Luo Sha's electromagnetic force is stronger and has the ability to transcend level combat capabilities. But before Luo Sha could be happy, the next moment, the 6 paths turned out to be like the reincarnation of dirty soil, and the broken bodies gathered together like the soil was reshaped. Strong, but not enough. Liu Dao expressed his affirmation, and then asked Dayu to imitate Luo Sha's appearance, forming a group of 3 and emitting powerful rays. Luo Sha used the electromagnetic gun to fight back without any fear. Countless rays of light collided, and Luo Sha's electromagnetic gun suppressed it in all directions. The 6 paths immortal nodded. The light stimulated by the simple power of 6 paths could not collide with Luo Sha's electromagnetic gun. Then the body was torn into tatters again under the damage of the railgun, and was immediately repaired like a reincarnation of dirty soil. It's interesting. It's obviously not as strong as me, but its attack power is stronger than my Tao-seeking Jade. Is this the power of your world's technology? It's really not simple. The Immortal of 6 Paths also felt it. Although his power of 6 Paths was higher than Luo Sha's, his destructive power was not as strong as Luo Sha's. Luo Sha carefully sensed the repair method of the 6 Paths Immortal, but was surprised to find that the 6 Paths Immortal had no breath of life. It was too late to remember that the 6 Paths Immortal was not a living person, but a spiritual body. Is this a physical attack invalid? But that's not right. Although it is electromagnetic force, reaching the 6th level has the effect of annihilating souls. It has just been verified on Otsutsuki Hagoromo. It's impossible for it to be ineffective on the 6 Paths Sage. There are still many things that are not simple. You know nothing about the power of science. Liu Dao, I want to see how you can be resurrected with the next blow. Immortal magic magnetic escape, expanding Tao-seeking Jade, infinite black hole. Luo Sha's 9 Tao-seeking Jade expanded and turned into 9 terrifying black holes, attacking the 6 paths with terrifying power. Liu Dao's expression finally became solemn. He could feel that Luo Sha's move carried the power of space and swallowing everything, and he truly felt the threat to his life. Unlike the power of 6 paths, if the power of 6 paths wants to have the ability of the space system, unless it is generated when the samsara eye is awakened, it is difficult to master it through practice. Just like Uchiha Obito's Kamui and his mother's Horizon. However, Luo Sha's electromagnetic force can always cause oscillations in space. Very good, the 6 Paths Immortal is very happy. Only with abilities that are different from his own can he defeat himself. The Immortal of 6 Paths chose to resist and test the power of the black hole emitted by Luo Sha. Susanoo opened, spreading the power of the 6 paths, and then the Kyudao Jade rotated to form a protective barrier, and the Kyudao Jade actively faced the incoming black hole. Luo Sha actually chose to pick it up head-on. He was very confident that he would win with this move. If the attacks of the six powers are controllable, then the subsequent power of the attacks issued by the electromagnetic force is uncontrollable. Unlike others who were promoted to the sixth level with the power of the six paths after reaching the ultimate level of yin and yang, Luo Sha was promoted by virtue of electromagnetic power. He was the only one in this world, and there was no one else to refer to. But it is also Luo Sha's advantage. Because no matter how you practice, it is impossible to compete with the six paths immortal who has studied for thousands of years in the power of the six paths. But electromagnetic force is different. Although Luo Sha also knows a little about it, compared to others who don't understand it at all, he is actually far ahead. Luo Sha has the right direction that others don't have. The system has always been an auxiliary, and my biggest golden finger is the accumulation of another world. Although Luo Sha's knowledge of physics was only at a normal level, most of her knowledge was just nouns, and the rest was left to the teacher. However, unable to withstand the infinite ability of trial and error, Luo Sha finally developed many space abilities caused by electromagnetic force. Time is out, space is king. Especially after the black hole was discovered, its huge swallowing ability also gave him the confidence to fight against the six advanced ones. If you, the immortal of six paths, can withstand the swallowing of the black hole, then there is no harm in admitting defeat. The immortal of six paths felt something was wrong as soon as he came into contact with Luo Sha's black hole, and he couldn't help it. The level of power is not as good as mine, but the power is too powerful. The skill called black hole far exceeds the power of the six paths produced by the ultimate yin-yang escape. The huge devouring force came. If it were one person, he could still resist with the support of Susanoo and the Tao Jade, but the huge suction coming from 9 could not be stopped. Moreover, after the 9 black hole-seeking jade came together, they actually overlapped, and the suction force expanded infinitely. Susanoo was shattered by the power of the black hole before he could hold on for 2 seconds. The Sage of Six Paths abandoned Susanoo and tried to escape using the Jade of the Path, but found that he could not break free at all. The whole person was swallowed bit by the black hole. Until the black hole was completely closed, the Six Paths Immortals reunited like dirt. But this time, the Six Paths Immortal was a little relieved. Although there are still some shortcomings, your strength has qualified you to know everything. End of this chapter. Chapter 232 I Killed Myself. Chapter 232 I Killed Myself. Luo Sha looked at the immortal of six paths without knowing why. He was sure that the black hole space had just shattered the soul of the immortal of six paths. Although he knew that the immortal of six paths must have a way to resurrect, it was too unbelievable to be reborn in such an unscathed instant. How did you do that? Luo Sha no longer cares about the so-called truth of the matter. If the Six Paths Immortal is so powerful, there is really no need for him to fight. There is no shame in surrendering. This is the truth of the matter. It's not just that you can't kill me, Luo Sha. In fact, I can't kill you either. The Six Paths Sage smiled bitterly, and his aura rose rapidly. The advanced strength of the Six Paths exploded with all his strength. The Pure Land was the space he had managed for thousands of years. The space was imprisoned in an instant. Although Rashi used electromagnetic power to break free, Susanoo of the Six Paths had already arrived. Grabbed Luo Sha. The number of Tao-seeking jade behind him increased from 9 to 99, and then gathered into a huge Tao-seeking jade, expanding infinitely. Luo Sha was stunned. Are you sure this is an attack? Let's all die together. Luo Sha's electromagnetic force vibrated, opening a gap in the space, and the divine power was activated. He wanted to hide in the divine power space, but the next moment, the Six Paths Immortal Samsara Eye rotated rapidly, and time and space were instantly imprisoned. Although I can't do what you do, I can still restrain you for a moment. Yes, and then Dai toed through in Luo Sha's shocked, puzzled, and depressed eyes. The expansion of the Tao-seeking jade swallowed up everything. Luo Sha and the Six Paths Immortal both died under this move. But the strange thing is that Luo Sha is also the same as the Six Paths Immortal. Even if the two people were blown into dregs by the explosion, they reunited little by little and became two intact people again. Luo Sha was in shock. He could confirm that he had indeed been killed just now. The feeling of death could not be fake. The expanding Gyudao Jade killed his body, and the power of the Six Paths obliterated his soul. Luo Sha didn't want to experience the pain that cut into the body and soul a second time. Is it illusion? Then shook his head. Although the Sage of Six Paths is indeed stronger than him, he has integrated many Mangekyou Sharingan. He dare not say how strong his illusion skills are, and he still has some defense against illusions. Especially entering the Sixth Path level is equivalent to having a clear path. Even if the illusion can take effect, it will never be possible for just an instant. However, just in case, he replaced the golden eyes with Shisui's other gods to test whether he was really under the illusion. There is no need to test. You are not under an illusion. You should know it if you are above the shadow level. A tenacious spirit cannot be hypnotized by illusion at all, let alone the sixth level. Even if it is an illusion, you can detect it. Just like I said, yes, you can't kill me, and I can't kill you, because this is the ultimate truth. Okay, I won't play charades with you. In fact, it's because I'm already dead. How can a dead person kill others? Also because I'm already dead, even if you are stronger than me, you will kill me. I won't die a second time. The Immortal of Six Paths released his Six Paths form and sat cross-legged on the ground. Following his thoughts, a futon, a table, and a tea set were created out of thin air. Steam came out of the teapot, and then he motioned for Luo Sha to sit down. Luo Sha sat down opposite the Sage of Six Paths. The Immortal of Six Paths made tea for Luo Sha and said with a faint smile, "Don't understand? It's normal. It's true that other people in the ninja world thought I was crazy." Luo Sha calmed down and said, "So you asked me to travel through time?" The Immortal of Six Paths directly admitted, "Yes, I allowed you to travel through time, but according to your world's view, I saved you. After all, you were hit by a truck and died, and all I brought was your soul. Then I really should thank you." A native said to himself solemnly, "I was the one who allowed you to travel through time." Luo Sha felt a little weird no matter what. As the guardian of the ninja world, you brought my soul from another world to the ninja world and turned it into the so-called system of enriching the village and strengthening the people. Six Paths, what is your purpose for me? Of course, I have a purpose for you in bringing you to the ninja world, so you don't have to thank me. The Six Paths sage's face darkened and he sighed. Luo Sha, now that you have discovered it, I will guide you step by step to become the guardian of the earth. The reason is naturally because of the impending disaster on the earth and the ninja world, and only you can save it. You have something to say. Luo Sha took a sip of tea and signaled Liu Dao not to show off. Why can he still speak after he is dead? It is different from the consciousness of Namikaze Minato and Kushina, who have residual souls. Besides, the disasters that happen in the ninja world cannot be solved by your Six Paths. Don't talk about Otsutsuki. Those three things can be solved by Madara, Shin, and Jugo if he doesn't take action now. Liu Dao laughed and said bluntly, "Luo Sha, let me tell the truth. In fact, the ninja world you are in has actually been destroyed. The reason why it still exists now is because the present is the past. And I am also there. I was killed at the moment of destruction. You guessed it right, I am not the consciousness of a soul, I am the body. It's just that this is the ability of my reincarnation. I fixed my death at the second before it was coming." He tried to speak in a way that Luo Sha could understand, but Luo Sha motioned for him to continue. "The world was destroyed, I fixed my death, and then used the dragon vein to go back decades ago, but once I reach the original time, my death will come completely, and I will really die at that time. So you can understand? If I hadn't accumulated experience in countless games and novels, I might not have been able to understand it. Luo Sha thought for a while and expressed her understanding. In other words, you were originally supposed to die at 12 o'clock, and then you fixed yourself at 11:59, and then used the power of the dragon vein to return to 10 o'clock, and as long as you will still die at 12 o'clock, am I right to understand that? Although it is very fantasy, Luo Sha chooses to believe in the immortal of six paths, and there is no benefit in deceiving himself. Moreover, the most important thing is that the dragon veins in this world are exhausted. After unifying the kingdom of wind, Luo Sha went to confirm it. As a result, the Lulan tribe has always existed as a stronghold for ordinary people. Queen Sarah told Luo Sha that about the first during the Sub-Ninja World War, the dragon veins were exhausted. The immortal of six paths nodded happily. Only Luo Sha, a soul from another world, could understand what he said. As expected of a person from another world, you understood it correctly, that's it. I fixed the world on the eve of its destruction, then went back to the past and finally found you. Only you can save this world that is destined to perish. Luo Sha was still confused. Okay, even if what you said is true, why do you know the world I live in and bring me to the ninja world? And with your strength, who can kill you? And the person who killed you, are you sure? Can I stop it? The immortal of six paths said with great certainty. It should be said that only you can save the world and stop him, because the person who killed me is myself. End of this chapter. Chapter 233 Parallel World War. Chapter 233 Parallel World War. Aren't you very curious about why I know your world and how I brought you here? That's because I told it all myself, another me from a parallel world. The corners of Luo Sha's mouth twitched, becoming more and more magical. Don't look like you can't accept it. In your world, isn't this already copied by movies and novels? Luo Sha was speechless and said, so, who among us is the time traveler? The immortal of six paths smiled. It would be best if there were no time travelers. As I told you, although I don't understand it either, there does exist a parallel world. Not long after, I from the parallel world will come to our world. When I noticed the fluctuations in space, I immediately went to check and saw another version of myself. At that time, I had not yet been able to accept the parallel world. You can probably imagine my expression. Luo Sha put himself in his shoes. If another self suddenly appeared in front of him, even if he had the concept of a parallel world, he might not be able to accept it, let alone the immortal of six paths. The immortal of six paths continued, so you also thought of it. But I can no longer accept that I have appeared in the parallel world. Even if it is unreasonable, I can't help but not believe it. Then he sent the information of his world to me through the Samsara Eye. Rasa has used this trick many times. The Sharingan can do it, and the Samsara Eye can also do it so. In the picture he sent, the ninja world he was in was destroyed by the unexpected traveler. The traveler traveled to Konoha, practiced ninjutsu, and intercepted the abilities of Naruto and Sasuke. There seemed to be some system in his body, and then after breaking through the 6th level, he destroyed the ninja world and injured me in that world. Luo Sha looked solemn. Well, he also thought that since he can travel through time, he obviously cannot be the only lucky one. If there is a parallel world, after all, not every traveler is kind and lawful. It is not unusual for a heinous person to come to the world in comics and gain the power to destroy the world with the help of the system. He would do things to destroy the world. But soon Luo Sha discovered a problem. That's not right. You just said that you killed you and destroyed the ninja world. Could it be that another time traveler came across the world to hunt you down? Or is it you in the parallel world who wants to replace you? The immortal of 6 paths shook his head slightly. None of them are right. The real situation is that I lied in the parallel world. It is true that not every time traveler is a kind person, but not every 6 paths immortal in the parallel world is kind. Later I found out that it was exactly like what I said in the parallel world at the beginning. The other party accidentally traveled to the ninja world and used the system to grow rapidly. However, the other party was not a bad person. It was just that he was an intruder and was quickly captured. The me in the parallel world discovered it and was killed. The power of the system was absorbed by me in the parallel world along with the memory of the traveler. The traveler seems to be in the same world as you, and after I absorbed the memory of the traveler in the parallel world, I suddenly discovered that the ninja world is actually a fictional comic book world, so he went crazy. In the words of your world, he turned dark. If it were me, I wouldn't be able to accept it for a while. Luo Sha, so what? So he thinks that the ninja world is a false world, and he wants to go to the real world. Then he needs to break through the barriers of the world and reach the power above the 6 paths level. But we, who are restricted by the earth, have reached the upper limit of our strength. So he turned black and destroyed the world and swallowed the power of the entire world. After swallowing the power of the world, he could indeed break the world barrier, but after breaking the barrier, what he came to was not the real world. It's a parallel world. Luo Sha understood. He came to this world. Immortal 6 paths shook his head slightly. As far as I know, our world is already the 5th world he has come to. I think you also understand what this means. Luo Sha frowned. So, he has destroyed 4 parallel worlds. The Sage of 6 Paths sighed. Yes, he has destroyed 4 ninja worlds. The picture he showed me was not fake. But it was not the world he was in, but another world that was almost destroyed by the time traveler. He came as a savior, but ended up destroying everyone's hopes with his own hands. Luo Sha didn't know how to answer the question. The plot reminded him of the movie Cosmic Manhunt starring Jet Li. It didn't look too similar. Kill countless versions of yourself in parallel worlds to make yourself stronger. Then, how did you find out? He was seriously injured when he came to this world. I didn't know the inside story at that time, so I let him recover. As a result, after he recovered, he revealed his true purpose, destroyed the ninja world, and killed me. But we are both 6 paths immortals, but the power of awakening in different worlds is different. My samsara eye has the ability to solidify time. When he saw me dying, he told me the truth of everything. And after I learned the truth of everything, I stopped my time at the second before my death, and then returned to the past through the dragon vein. But because he is me in a parallel world, I cannot go back to before he came. Time. Therefore, even if you already have a chance to win, don't force yourself to fight with the enemy. Luo Sha asked, then why did you summon me? Luo Sha, I believe you have also discovered that the timeline of the ninja world when you arrived is very different. Many things happened in advance and many things did not happen in fact. At the beginning, I didn't want to summon you. I tried to develop the power of the ninja world. I saved myself, but I sadly discovered that the power of the ninja world itself cannot defeat me in the parallel world. Luo Sha suddenly realized it and asked why the timelines of many things did not match up and were specious. Until the end, I discovered you. Do you know why I in the parallel world could come to my world? Because there was a crack in the world, but for some reason, you didn't come through. As a result, I in the parallel world followed this path. The rift is coming. Everyone in our world has been doomed by the future. Even if I try to change it, it will be constantly corrected and everything you see will become specious. Only you are not from the ninja world. Your fate is not destined. It is through your influence that you can break the established destiny of this ninja world and avoid the destruction of the world. So when the world almost missed you again, I summoned you. It is indeed the truth of everything. The 6 Paths Immortal solved the puzzle and let Luo Sha know how he traveled to the world of Naruto. However, the 6 Paths Immortal in the parallel world was actually influenced by the time traveler and wanted to devour countless parallel worlds and then break through the limitations of the world. It feels a little stressful. People who travel through time travel well, acquire systems well, develop well, and finally dominate the world. Why are there so many complications when it comes to me? End of this chapter. Chapter 234. 6 Immortals from the Parallel World are coming. Chapter 234. The Immortal of 6 Paths from the Parallel World is here. Very bizarre truth. But despite all impossibility, no matter how bizarre it is still true. The 6 Paths Immortal who turns black in the parallel world, so your incarnation system is actually to test me. I feel inexplicably upset. The Immortal of 6 Paths seemed to see it and said, "Yes, although I am very offensive to you, but I have handed over the whole world to you. So it is normal to have tests after all. I can't just bet on your character." According to the information from me in the parallel world, in the world he went to, there was only one time traveler who was considered kind, and the others acted recklessly after gaining power. After all, it was just a world in comics. The 6 Paths Immortals' self-deprecation made Luo Sha less embarrassed to delve deeper. What about you? You don't have any special feelings after learning that your world is a fictional world? The Sage of 6 Paths retorted, "Rasa, do you think the ninja world is fictional?" "Of course not," Luo Sha said firmly. "How could it be fictitious?" His subordinates, the imaginative King Maki, the workaholic Scorpion, Ikura, who secretly loves him, and the 3 children Temari, Kikuro and Gaara, are all living in front of him. Real person. The Immortal of 6 Paths was very satisfied with Luo Sha's answer. "Yes, I think the black version of me is too arrogant." When he saw the memories of those time travelers, he felt that he was a fiction. But where can such real fictions be found? I prefer that the world of every story is real. The world is just expressed in the form of animation by the author who invests in the world you live in. Just like many plots of animations and comics in your world are in conflict. Maybe it's not a conflict, but they actually exist in different parallel worlds. Although the main body is the same, the details are different. In each world, there is the only protagonist Naruto and Sasuke, but in this real world, everyone is their own protagonist. Every resident of Sunagakure village is not the protagonist of his own life. Even the ninja world has countless stories and movies, and those worlds may also exist. If they are all fictional, even your world, so why is it not a fictional world written by someone? Are you sure that you are in the most real world? Facing a series of questions from the Immortal of 6 Paths, Luo Sha had a black line on her forehead. "That's a good question, but unfortunately I'm not a philosopher, and we're not here to debate. Besides, it's true that thinking too much about this kind of problem will drive you crazy. It's better not to discuss this kind of Schrödinger's cat, it will be fruitless. The only thing I can be sure of is that the world I'm in now is real, and the people around me are also real. Since you, the blackened one, are coming to destroy, then it is inevitable it needs to be stopped." The knowledge of the Immortal of 6 Paths comes from the knowledge of those who passed through the blue star in the parallel world. I know this theory and laugh out loud. Are you sure? Luo Sha. In fact, you discovered it early, so you still have a chance. In the parallel world, I only destroyed the ninja world. If you leave the earth with your current strength, he will not look for you. You still have divine power, so you can do it. Leave with your subordinates and find a suitable place in the universe to develop again. Luo Sha said speechlessly, "Okay, it's pointless for you to test it at this point. Your incarnation system guided my power to an electromagnetic force that is completely different from the power of the 6 Paths, and made me bear the authority of the Guardian of the Earth. Could it be that to let me leave? I might go see the world outside the ninja world, but not now." Luo Sha saw through Liu Dao's thoughts at a glance. After traveling through time for several years, he asked himself whether he was lawful good or lawful neutral, and definitely not chaotic evil. The prestige of Sunagakure village, which he has worked so hard to manage, is still there even if there is no tangible value on the panel. It was all his own hard work, not to mention his loyal subordinates and the sense of accomplishment of correcting the world. How could it be possible to just leave it behind? The Immortal of 6 Paths was not embarrassed either. "Don't say that. I was betting the world on your kindness, but it seems I was lucky and won the bet. Just as Luo Sha said, from the moment he incarnated into the system, Six Paths has deliberately guided Luo Sha to advance into the power of magnetic escape. The power of the Six Paths has been developed to the extreme. Even if he imparts his experience to Luo Sha, he will not be another opponent of him. After all, he in the parallel world has gained the accumulation of 4 worlds. Luo Sha couldn't catch up even if he tried to flatter him. But just because the power of Six Paths can't keep up, it doesn't mean that others can't catch up. The science in Luo Sha's world is very interesting, and it's what interests Six Paths the most. Luo Sha itself is magnetic escape gold, which allows Luo Sha to continuously evolve towards the level of magnetism and really evolve electromagnetic force. Coupled with Luo Sha's own research, the electromagnetic force moves are no less than the power of the Six Paths. Especially the black hole just now, the Six Paths immortal believed that even if he was blackened, he would never be able to escape if he encountered it. Your electromagnetic force is no longer weaker than my Six Path power, and is even stronger in attack. It is enough for me to stop the blackening. In that case, the immortal of Six Paths transmitted a white light from his body back to Luo Sha's body. The next moment, the system interface reappears. Congratulations to the host for completing the final mission, gaining the recognition of the Six Paths Immortal, and obtaining 20% of the Earth Guardian Authority controlled by the Six Paths Immortal. Now the Earth Guardian Authority has reached 100% Luo Sha. Knowing that the system was transformed by the Immortal of Six Paths, it was a bit unbearable to look at the system interface again. The Immortal of Six Paths said, "Okay, this is not surveillance of you, this is the final authority. The current system is just an illusion in your mind, and it has nothing to do with me. You just asked me many questions, but I also have a question. Let me ask you, have you ever had any doubts? Is it because you are the guardian of the earth that you want to protect the ninja world so much?" Luo Sha said nonchalantly, "So, don't underestimate me. Although I am still a small level behind you, my understanding of the world is no less than yours. Although you have done a lot, I am inseparable from this world. But it's a pity that my soul does not come from this world. That guardian has no effect on me. Shouldn't you know it yourself? So let's talk about how to deal with the darkened you." The Immortal of Six Paths shrugged boldly. "Shouldn't you laugh at me? You've been planning to make a wedding dress for me for a long time in vain. You should be lucky that I'm a good person, otherwise you can't kill me now. I'm the strongest in the ninja world, so I can do whatever I want. You have a bad physique." Luo Sha was speechless. Seeing that Luo Sha did not follow his topic, the Immortal of Six Paths shrugged his head. What Luo Sha didn't know was that after learning that Luo Sha had taken over his banner, the Immortal of Six Paths who suddenly relaxed completely let go. "It's boring, it's really boring. Let's talk about how to deal with the blackened me. Speaking of which, he is coming soon. It seems that breaking the world barrier will cause a lot of damage, and the strength will also drop from the 6th level high level to the he is at the intermediate level of Six Paths, so now is the best time for you to deal with him, but it is rare to find him at the same time, in the ninja world, in a certain dense forest." The air shook, and a figure fell out, with 2 horns on his head and the Samsara Sharingan on his forehead. The Immortal of Six Paths from the parallel world is here. End of this chapter. Chapter 235 Otsutsuki Hagoromo's Plan. Chapter 235 Otsutsuki Hagoromo's Plan. Open your eyes are Rinnegan, and your forehead is Rin Sharingan. The blackened Otsutsuki Hagoromo looked up at Jodo, with anger on his face. Great exclamation unexpectedly, my reincarnation I in this world awakened the ability of time. Looking back, I almost killed the opponent, destroyed this world, and swallowed the origin of the world. However, the Immortal of Six Paths in this world used the Samsara Eye to pause time, and watched helplessly as he used the Dragon Vein to return to the past. It's simply a misstep. Whenever he faced the Sage of Six Paths who didn't agree with him, Otsutsuki Hagoromo couldn't help but tell the other party about his experiences in different worlds, intending to prove that he was right and that they were just poor people bound by the ninja world. But it doesn't matter, there is still a chance to reverse it. If you can destroy the world once, you can destroy the world twice. Although he was escaped by the Sage of Six Paths, Otsutsuki Hagoromo's soul and memory were not cleared. He still maintained the memory of the first time he traveled. However, the Sage of Six Paths reset the world, and all the things he had done were also it became something that never happened. After all, he does not exist in this world. But it doesn't matter. As a fellow Sage of Six Paths, Otsutsuki Hagoromo almost instantly understood the shortcomings of the Rinnegan of Six Paths Sage, that is, he can change the fate of others, but cannot change his own. He was dead and unable to stop himself. Although the current self is only at the intermediate level of the Six Paths and infinitely close to the advanced level of the Six Paths because of the excessive power consumed during the time travel, even the perfectly resurrected mother cannot stop herself. After all, the mother lacks combat experience, and most importantly, the mother cannot kill her face. This fact has been verified in other worlds. Therefore, under the premise that the Six Paths immortal cannot take action, he just needs to spend more time if he wants to destroy the world. But more is worse than less. Just when Otsutsuki Hagoromo wanted to kill a random-tailed beast to prevent his mother's resurrection, he was surprised to find that the natural energy of this world was so abundant. How is this going? Otsutsuki Hagoromo was confused. Could it be that he cooperated with those traders from the three great immortals? This kind of concentration of natural energy is only possible with the full cooperation of the three holy places. Then Otsutsuki Hagoromo curled his lips in disdain. Although he knew that the Sage of Six Paths would definitely struggle to his death, the three traders, even if they cooperated, they couldn't fight even if they supported the juniors of Six Paths to death. They were not enough to kill him. It just so happens that if you kill them, you can still gain access to this world. Although the abundance of natural energy will give birth to many strong men, it is not easy to break through at the 6th level. Even if you break through, they will all use the same yin and yang escape as yourself, and there is no need to worry. In the face of absolute strength, numbers are meaningless. Otsutsuki Hagoromo moved his muscles and flew in the direction of Konoha. No matter what, it would not be wrong to get Naruto and Sasuke's authority first and then destroy Konoha. But when he came to Konoha, he realized something was wrong. Naruto and Sasuke are gone, the third generation has died, and the current Hokage is Tsunade. Moreover, the power of Konoha's world blessing is no longer there, and the hand that is the incarnation of the world's will is also missing. This is impossible. In the current timeline, how could the plot have changed so much? He never tried to change the plot, but found that the world would correct itself. Especially the fate of the two protagonists Naruto and Sasuke will be modified to the maximum extent. There can only be one reason for this. There must be a time traveler coming, and only the impact caused by the time traveler cannot be corrected by the power of fate. But the last time he came, although there were cracks in the world, there were no time travelers. So it was done by the immortal of Six Paths in order to deal with yourself. You would not hesitate to lead a wolf into the house. I have shown the character of a time traveler to the immortal of Six Paths, but he still dares to do this. Isn't he afraid of raising tigers? But it doesn't matter, even the time traveler will not be his opponent. It's nothing more than helping the other party reach the Six Paths level, but who can master the power of the Six Paths of Yin-Yang done better than himself? After a little asking around Konoha, I found out who the time traveler was. Rasa from Sand Hidden Village is the current top master in the ninja world. He built Sunagakure village into the strongest ninja village, singled out Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, and destroyed the army of filthy reincarnations in Konoha. The legend of Rasa is everywhere. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was instantly sure that such a limelight must be a time traveler. Knowing that Luo Sha is a time traveler, Otsutsuki Hagoromo went into hibernation instead because time travelers always have some weird golden fingers, systems and the like, and if they are not careful, they will overturn. However, this kind of system power is also Otsutsuki Hagoromo's favorite. Even if it swallows two worlds, it is not as big as the increase brought by swallowing one system. Then he came to Sand Hidden Village and instantly confirmed that Luo Sha was a time traveler. The changes in Sunagakure village cannot be thought up by people in the ninja world. The enemy was in the open and we were in the dark, but Otsutsuki Hagoromo was no longer anxious, and hibernated quietly, preparing to find out what the golden finger of the time traveler Luo Sha was, and how far Luo Sha's strength has reached. 2 months passed so quietly. Otsutsuki Hagoromo has basically grasped Rasa's situation. First of all, Rasa's strength must have reached the 6th level. Secondly, Rasa has mastered the 3 holy places and successfully helped Shin and Jugo regain control of the Shikbone Forest and Uchiha Cave. The Uchiha Cave is now actually occupied by Uchiha Madara Master. He secretly went to the moon and found that his mother Kaguya Otsutsuki had also been resurrected by Rasa and lived happily with Himura on the moon. Rasa, Shin, Jugo, Uchiha Madara, and Mother Kaguya. Even because of Rasa's opening, the entire world's natural energy is abundant, and there are actually many people who can fight against the 6 paths level. Fortunately, I didn't arrogantly go to find trouble with Luo Sha right away. If he were a full-fledged 6-path advanced, he would still have a chance of winning, but now that he had broken through the world barrier, he would have suffered a lot of losses, and his strength was only 6-path intermediate. Under the siege of so many people, it was almost like dying. And the world is so prosperous, Luo Sha obviously has the support of 6 paths. Luo Sha does not kill like those who traveled through time, and naturally he is not an evil person, so he cannot transform into the 6 paths to lure Luo Sha to destroy the world. It was really my biggest mistake not to completely kill the 6 paths immortal last time. Every time he traveled through the past, he used his own negligence in the parallel world to slowly accumulate strength, and then replaced it to recover and advance in the swallowing world. Now, although the most troublesome sage of 6 paths cannot stop him, the Rasa he found actually used the power of the time traveler to ignore fate to develop the ninja world prosperously. He has also cultivated so much high-strength fighting power that even if he doesn't fight against himself in the parallel world, he can't easily win. It can be called the most difficult situation I have ever encountered. However, there is no chance of reversal. Looking at the distant universe, it seems that Jinshiki, Urashiki, and Momoshiki are almost there. Let's take a look at Sand Hidden Village. Luo Sha, if your relatives and subordinates knew that you were a time traveler, do you think they would still trust you? End of this chapter. Chapter 236. A future without Lord Luo Sha is not my future. Chapter 236. A future without Lord Luo Sha is not my future. Luo Sha has a very good habit of never shouldering such major events by himself. Not long after he reached a settlement with the 6 Paths sage, he held an emergency Ninja World Conference. The participants included the 3 major holy places, the 5 major ninja villages, as well as Nagato and other powerful people. He told everyone that the ninja world was about to be destroyed by the Sage of 6 Paths in the parallel world. Although everyone was confused, they had to accept it because it was the Sage of 6 Paths himself who explained it to everyone. The Sage of 6 Paths directly activated the Samsara Eye to let everyone experience everything for themselves. That was the original future of the ninja world. Mountains and rivers were broken, the world withered, and the whole world was swallowed up by Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Each and every one of them swore that they would be inseparable from Otsutsuki Hagoromo from the parallel world. The only thing that has been hidden is that Luo Sha is a time traveler. In fact, Rasa himself didn't care. He was very confident in his relationship with Gaara and all his subordinates. However, in order to avoid trouble, he still accepted the advice of the Sage of 6 Paths. This is what happened. Everyone knows it. Through the perception of the Sage of Six Paths and it is confirmed that Otsutsuki Hagoromo has come to our world. For the sake of distinction, the one who wants to destroy the world will be called Otsutsuki Hagoromo from now on. That's it. He is hiding now and we can't find him, so we need everyone's cooperation. Although he is Otsutsuki Hagoromo from the parallel world, his origin is the same. As long as he wants to hide, he cannot be found in the vast crowd even with help from his hands. Tsunade asked, "But how can we cooperate?" Lord Rasa, you also said that as long as he hides, even you and the Sage of Six Paths will not be able to find him. That's a good question, because he won't hide forever. His purpose is to devour our world, and he will be sensed by us as long as he takes action. But now that he has broken the world's barrier, his strength has been severely damaged, and he wants to recover. One is to cultivate and the other is to devour the origin. It takes thousands of years to cultivate. It is impossible for him to hide for such a long time. If you want the origin of the world, you can only find me. In the past, the origins of the world were in the three holy places, the moon, the immortal of six paths, and Ming's Yuo, but now they are all gathered in Luo Sha. Otsutsuki Hagoromo wants to destroy the world, but he can't escape and face Rasa no matter what. The purpose of holding this meeting for everyone is not to ask you to resist, and you cannot resist. There is no need for you to publicize this matter to avoid panic. But if Otsutsuki Hagoromo comes into contact with anyone, everyone must tell me immediately, even with him when a war begins. As long as he takes action, Liu Dao and I will be able to sense and support you immediately. We must cooperate. Mizukage Terumi Mei agreed. Lord Rasa has already shouldered the responsibility of eliminating Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and their cooperation is naturally their responsibility. I used to think that the enemy I faced was the Otsutsuki clan who was about to invade. Who would have thought that the enemy I needed to face now was actually Otsutsuki Hagoromo from the parallel world? But it seems that they are still the Otsutsuki clan. The ninja world is really in trouble, especially the scene sent to them by the Sage of Six Paths. The mountains collapsed and the earth split, the world withered and the ninja world was destroyed. This is everyone's world. Fortunately, there is Lord Luo Sha, but every time we only rely on Lord Luo Sha to step forward. Everyone in Sand Hidden Village feels the same way. Lord Rasa has been preparing to resist the Otsutsuki clan and liberate the three holy places a long time ago. He was also threatened with death by the immortal of Six Paths. In the end, he finally reached a reconciliation with the Sage of Six Paths, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo appeared in a parallel world. Everyone in Sand Hidden Village feels sorry for Luo Sha. After that, everyone tensed up and waited for Otsutsuki Hagoromo to take the bait, but Otsutsuki Hagoromo seemed to have disappeared from the world, with no trace of him in 2 months. Until this day, Rasa left Sand Hidden Village and went to the Pure Land, taking the Sage of Six Paths to sense the earth and looking for Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Otsutsuki Hagoromo came to the training ground of Sunagakure village quietly, and Rasa's core subordinates were practicing seriously. They have been following Luo Sha's footsteps, but every time they see Luo Sha's back, they are immediately left behind, as if Master Luo Sha doesn't want them to go through the wind and rain. From the beginning of the shadow level, when they reached the shadow level, Lord Luo Sha reached the shadow level and above. When they reached the shadow level, Lord Luo Sha reached the 6 levels. Now he has to fight Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Although it is a parallel world, it is also the ceiling of the ninja world. Even though I know that my efforts are useless, I still want to do something. Then the next moment, they suddenly felt that the space was still, and everyone was pulled into a different space. Otsutsuki Hagoromo suddenly appeared in front of everyone. Almost all the elites of Sunagakure village were present and immediately went on alert. Don't be afraid, everyone. I am the ninja sect of this world, Otsutsuki Hagoromo Six Paths Sage. Judging from your reactions, I know that you have been deceived by that time traveler. Seeing the guarded look of Sunagakure village, he knew that his existence was known to them. But it doesn't matter. Otsutsuki Hagoromo's Rinnegan's ability is similar to Uchiha Shisui's, called mantra, which will make people believe what he says unconsciously. Otherwise, how can we successfully gain the trust of the six paths immortals in every world and finally destroy the world? The ability of the Samsara Eye was activated. Otsutsuki Hagoromo said, "Actually, you have all been deceived. I am the six paths immortal of this world. Neither Luo Sha nor the other six paths immortal are from this world. Even Luo Sha is not Luo Sha. There is another soul in his body. They injured me in an attempt to occupy this world and also changed your original destiny." Otsutsuki Hagoromo activates the Samsara Eye to pass on everyone's original destiny. Immediately afterwards, I realized that everyone's expressions were very wrong. Zai looked at himself who was begging for death in the picture. Well, being killed by his grandma was indeed what he wanted in the past, but it seemed that if he died, his grandma would also die. What's so good about such a fate? Kang looked at himself being turned into a hedgehog by Kirigakure, and was speechless. Yashimaru looked at himself who was killed by Gaara. Did he end up like this if his brother-in-law didn't come that day? Maki's status has not changed, but he has become Gaara's master, but the Sunagakure village is still so weak. Compared to the now strong Sunagakure village, Yura shook his head repeatedly as he watched him transform into Uzumaki and then be kicked to death by Kai. Beizu ignored it directly. Little Lulan could not perform as well as he could in Cheyenne village now. Temari couldn't stand it when she saw that she was actually married to a Konoha ninja, married to a husband and raised a child, and had to be blamed. Kinkuro saw that the puppet he studied was so unmotivated. No wonder his father looked down on him before. Gaara doesn't want to admit that such a tragic future belongs to him, and what kind of reconciliation with his father is there? Xiang Lion glanced at Gaara. I don't want to be Sasuke's licking dog. Only then did Zai Luo realize that without Master Luo Sha, he might not be able to perfect the 7-day breathing technique in his entire life. Uchiha Izumi and Shiro discovered that their original trajectories were not much different from soy sauce. Kimimaro had no expression on his face. He just hit Hayabari no Mai and started to do it in dissatisfaction. A future without Lord Luo Sha is not my future. End of this chapter. Chapter 237. Guess that I, Ma Jai, am the strongest. Chapter 237. Guess that I, Ma Jai, am the strongest. Otsutsuki Hagoromo glanced at the future he had passed onto the past. What are the so would Sunagakure village be so miserable without Luo Sha? There are too many worlds apart, and the most important thing is Konoha village. As for the future of other ninja villages, Otsutsuki Hagoromo has almost forgotten. The only thing I remember is that Gaara, who had a good relationship with Naruto, became the Kazekage, and now being suppressed by Rasa, he must be unhappy. Moreover, such a talent in front of him should have shined even more without the suppression of Luo Sha. But the result is this situation without Luo Sha. Wouldn't everyone's ending be so miserable? Didn't expect it either. Kimimaro directly transformed into a skeletal god of death, and the others also entered their strongest state, and actually cursed us. That kind of tragic future is our supposed ending. Who needs it? Mantra, it doesn't work even if activated. The attack was infinitely close to the six paths level, causing the six paths immortal to block from left to right and dodge in an extremely embarrassing manner. It's not that he doesn't want to fight back, but that once he fights back, Luo Sha and Liu Dao will sense it, but his goal has not been achieved. Originally, the Sage of Six Paths had a good idea, first turning Rasa's cronies to his side. In the past world, Naruto and Sasuke were plotted first, but in this world, Naruto and Sasuke were not strong enough, so they had to choose Rasa. Sans cronies. As a result, I made such a big mistake because of my carelessness. Who would have thought that without Luo Sha, the future of these people would be so miserable? Mantra failure is inevitable. Who would be willing to accept such a future? If I had known earlier, I would have changed it since it is irreversible. There is no need to hold back. It is best to kill 2 of them and reduce Luo Sha's combat power. Directly entering the 6-path mode, the powerful repulsion knocked everyone away and then returned to the real space. He wanted to kill him, but everyone had already prepared their defenses, and 2 powerful forces were about to arrive. Otsutsuki Hagoromo did not dare to delay. Looking at everyone, he said harshly, "Maybe those futures are miserable, but that is your real destiny. Besides, Luo Sha is really not Luo Sha. There is another soul in his body. You don't have to believe me." His eyes flickered, and a ray of light entered Gaara's body. "Gaara, if you don't believe it, you can ask your father who he is. With the blessing of my reincarnation eye, his answer will not be false." Seeing that he would be blocked by Luo Sha and Liu Dao if he delayed any longer, Otsutsuki Hagoromo hurried away, but was still caught by Luo Sha. After seeing that everyone was fine, he chased after him. Several people who escaped from the 6 realms gasped. Although no one took Otsutsuki Hagoromo's words to heart, it was inevitable to be overly concerned. "Everyone, you look at me, and I look at you." Kimimaro was the first to dust himself off, looked at everyone and said calmly, "Don't tell me that you believe it." Everyone shook their heads together, let alone disbelief. They just really believed that who would want such a future. Ma Jai said, "Are you kidding? Even if what he says is true, so what? Even if he is really not Master Luo Sha, I am still willing to follow him." Maki still had the best ending among everyone. He also became Gaara's teacher, gained Gaara's trust, and became the Kazekij's advisor. However, without Luo Sha to solve the elder group, Fenying would still be constrained in the future, and that was just what he was like as an elder. Not to mention others. It's either a tragic death or a tragic death. It's simply a competition of misfortune. However, it is inevitable to think too much. Kimimaro, Shiro, and Uchiha Izumi don't matter. They are not from Sunagakure village. The current Lord Rasa treats them very well and has great kindness, so there is no need to worry about it at all. Most of the remaining people are from Sunagakure village, and they have a close relationship with Rasa. Especially Rasa's change is traceable on the night when Gaara was about to be killed by Yashimaru. If Luo Sha is really a soul from another world, it's not that they can't accept it, but they just have a little grudge. It would be great if it was really Lord Luo Sha who changed. This is where more people struggle rather than being disloyal to Luo Sha. Especially for Gaara, he really couldn't accept the kind of future passed down by Otsutsuki Hagoromo, that kind of reconciliation with his father, and relying on Naruto to get out of the haze. Temari and Kankuro stepped forward and patted Gaara on the shoulders. Temari showed her signature smile. "Why are you so disappointed?" "You have to believe, Dad. I don't want to marry someone like Shikamaru." Kankuro also said, "That's right. If it is true, then I hope that kind of future is true, because then my father will not treat me like a naughty child and steal my brother's love." "What are you so upset about?" The depression was swept away by Kankuro's self-deprecation. "Yes, no matter who he is the father. Everyone is no longer entangled. Compared with that tragic future, the current Lord Luo Sha is Lord Luo Sha." Zai didn't waver at all. Compared to the ending where both he and his grandma died, Grandma hoped that he and his parents would be happy now, which was also the purpose of the reincarnation technique. Yi Kang pouted, "My beloved Luo Sha is not such a villain." Yuliang nodded repeatedly, saying that he did not want to be a secondary player. Yashimaru was very relieved. It would be better to live to see Temari, Yashimaru, and Gaara grow up. Beizu feels that the world today is very good, otherwise no one would be willing to spend money to develop technology for themselves. Zai Luo became more determined to master Luo Sha, who gave him the opportunity to perfect the 7 days breathing technique. Kaoru said that Sasuke is not my cup of tea at all now. Ma Jai suddenly said, "Actually, have you ever thought that maybe the souls are different, but Master Luo Sha is Master Luo Sha?" Everyone looked at Ma Jai in confusion. Actually, during the meeting of the ninja world that day, Master Luo Sha was about to speak, but was blocked by the Six Paths sage. It can be seen that Master Luo Sha wanted to announce something. Have you ever thought that after the destruction of the last world, maybe it's not just Otsutsuki Hagoromo who has come to our world, but also Lord Rasa? Think about it carefully. Everything Master Luo Sha has done to us is more like compensation. Is this what an unrelated soul would do? Unless it is a person with regrets. Since Otsutsuki Hagoromo can come to us world, why can't Master Luo Sha do it? Everyone's eyes lit up. Marky's statement, while crazy, makes perfect sense. Think about what Master Luo Sha has done over the years, which is to make up for the regrets of the past and make Sand Hidden Village more prosperous and rich. If it is Luo Sha from another world, it can also explain why Master Luo Sha seems to predict the direction of the world in advance. Gaara, I'm sure. You can ask Lord Rasa later if he is Rasa. Marky was extremely confident. If it's a father, even a father in a parallel world seems to be more accepting. Because he has lost it, does he cherish it more? Gaara's whole body burned. At this time, Luo Sha also came back cursing, and said angrily, "You have destroyed 4 worlds, so you just know how to run away, and you have the ability to fight with me." Falling in front of everyone, he asked with concern, "Are you all okay?" As expected, Master Luo Sha always cares about them so much. "Father, can I ask you a question?" "Ask, why are you so polite? Are you really Luo Sha?" End of this chapter. Chapter 238, Gaara breaks through and the Otsutsuki trio arrives. Chapter 238, Gaara breaks through and the Otsutsuki trio arrives. I'm Rosa. Luo Sha felt the power of destiny and couldn't help but spit out. However, what he admitted was not Luo Sha from Hidden Sand Village, but Luo Sha, Blue Star's real name in his previous life. He immediately realized that this was probably a trick left by Otsutsuki Hagoromo just now, in order to alienate himself and his cronies. He sighed and said, "Okay, it seems you all know, father, I'm sorry." Gaara excitedly threw himself into Luo Sha's arms. Sure enough, his father was his father. No one else would love him like this. He still hesitated. I felt so sorry for his father. "Ah, no, Lord Luo Sha, you don't need to say it. My subordinates all know that even the Lord Luo Sha from a different world is still our Lord Luo Sha. My subordinates will definitely follow you and will never be deceived by that Otsutsuki Hagoromo." Exclamation. The leader knelt down, followed by others who knelt down. The long-lost feeling confused Luo Sha. It was Uchiha Izumi and Shiro who stepped forward, complimenting each other with each other's words, and told Luo Sha what had just happened and Maki's inference. Looking at Ma Jai, Luo Sha was speechless. I really miss this kind of long-lost brain supplement. I really deserve the title of King of Brain Supplement. Shaking his head with a wry smile. Marky, I have to say, it has to be you, always so unexpected. As your most loyal subordinate, it is necessary to understand Lord Luo Sha's thoughts. Seeing everyone's attitude, Luo Sha swallowed back the explanation she was going to say. That's it. I am indeed a Rasha from another world, but this Rasha is not another Rasha. I believe that my subordinates will not have any objections, because from now on I will be Rasha. His father's generosity made Gaara even more regretful. He clearly loved his father, so how could he doubt it? It's all my fault that Otsutsuki Hagoromo actually wants to drive a wedge between my father and me. Just abominable! Exclamation. A surge of power suddenly emerged in his heart, and Gaara's whole aura increased in vain. The 6 bottlenecks that had been blocking him actually broke through, and the power of nature poured into Gaara's body crazily. Even Shikaku in Gaara's body also benefited. Hey, I feel like I am about to break through with this power. Gaara and Shikaku united in mind and instantly entered Shikaku mode, but this time their bodies became half golden and half white. There were 4 golden Megatama on the left side of the neck, 4 white Megatama on the right, and gold in the middle. white and white Magatama. There was a golden and white tin staff in his hand, with violet patterns covering it. 9 Tao-seeking jade emerged behind him, also half gold and half white, with violet patterns. 6 paths level, the first 6 paths level in the ninja world that combines magnetic escape and yin and yang escape. Because of his guilt and love for Rasa, and because of Shikaku's relationship, Gaara was the first to break through to the 6 paths level when the two became one. I see, is this my father's state? He twirled the tin staff with one hand and carried it handsomely behind his back. Father, let me help you better. Luo Sha, should I thank Otsutsuki Hagoromo or Maki? But it was really a blessing in disguise. He patted Gaara on the head and said, Okay, Dad is very happy that you have entered the 6th level, but when will you be able to enter the 6th level by yourself or Shikaku alone? Qualified strong man. Don't worry, Father, I will do it. Everyone looked at him with envy, especially Yikang, Kimamaro and Ziluo who were closest to the 6th path level. Their feelings for Lord Luo Sha were equally passionate. Could it be because Shikaku is missing from his body also want to help Master Luo Sha? Unhappiness is written all over them. Luo Sha comforted him. You don't have to be depressed. The 6th level is more about an opportunity. This time it's just Gaara's opportunity. Breaking through the 6th level with one's own strength has far greater room for growth than relying on the blessing of the Holy Land. It can only be said that after Gaara saw the original future, his feelings for his family had become an obsession. Everyone put their minds aside and did not flinch. Instead, Gaara aroused their desire to chase after him. Gaara happily released the 6 paths mode, but before releasing it, he used all his strength to force out a spiritual wolf from his body. It's the remaining power that Otsutsuki Hagoromo left in Gaara. With a firm grip, the power dissipates. At the same time, Otsutsuki Hagoromo, who escaped into space, also received the information from the ground and spit out a mouthful of old blood. What is this? It was originally intended to drive a wedge between Luo Sha and his subordinates, but ended up becoming Luo Sha's wedding dress. Otsutsuki Hagoromo couldn't figure it out. The power of mantra was the ability of his samsara eye. It was impossible for Rasa to tell Lise how could he be Luo Sha? He is obviously a time traveler. This was confirmed by Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Is it really the soul of Luo Sha who followed him through time? Otsutsuki Hagoromo also couldn't help but doubt what Maki said. Mantra is the skill of the samsara eye and it will never go wrong. If it is really Rasa, it is reasonable to make changes when he knows the future well. Hatred of oneself is also justified. Out of his absolute trust in the samsara eye, Otsutsuki Hagoromo never doubted that although Rasa was Rasa, it might just be the same name and surname. After all, Gaara's question was only whether you were Rasa. Now that the alienation plan has failed, we have to make the final plan. Deep in the universe, there is a planet that is still 3 days away from reaching the 6 paths level with all their strength. Otsutsuki Urashiki, Otsutsuki Kinshiki and Otsutsuki Momoshiki are recuperating. They have sensed the earth where Kaguya finally disappeared, and traveling through the universe has also consumed a lot of their strength. Now that we are about to reach our destination, we naturally need to adjust. But suddenly the 3 of them opened their samsara eyes, looked at the figure speeding in the space, and all made fighting postures. Who is it? Otsutsuki Momoshiki raised her hand and spread out the Rin Sharingan in her palm. Otsutsuki Hagoromo stopped in midair. Feeling the specious Otsutsuki bloodline on Otsutsuki Hagoromo, he frowned and said, Who are you? Why is there the bloodline of the Otsutsuki clan in your body? If they weren't afraid of Otsutsuki Hagoromo's strength, several people would have jumped on it. It was clear at a glance that the person coming had impure blood and must be a mixed-blood Otsutsuki. It is not unheard of in the past. The Otsutsuki who planted the sacred tree combined with the men and women of the planet to give birth to offspring, but as soon as they were discovered, they would be cleaned up. However, since the whereabouts of Otsutsuki Shibai, the god of the Otsutsuki clan, have gone missing, Otsutsuki has ceased to exist in name only without a strong enough leader, and naturally he does not care so much about the cleanup of the mixed bloods. Furthermore, Hagoromo, who had devoured 4 worlds, was now at the advanced level of the 6 paths, but had temporarily fallen to the intermediate level. He was faintly suppressing the 3 people who were only at the elementary to intermediate level. Otherwise, how could the 3 of them be so easy to talk to? Otsutsuki Hagoromo deliberately showed his strength because he knew the 3 people's character. Hello Otsutsuki Kinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki. Let me introduce myself. I am Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the child of the traitor Kaguya you are chasing. End of this chapter. Chapter 239 The advantage lies with us. Chapter 239 The advantage is on our side. Not long after Otsutsuki Hagoromo escaped, the sage of 6 paths slowly landed. He said with some frustration, he went to the universe. At this time I just went to ask for help. Otsutsuki Kinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki are almost here. It's obvious that he went to find them. Luo Sha smiled and said, "This is not normal. He has already destroyed 4 worlds. You can't expect him to have a bottom line? Now there is no place for him in the ninja world. It makes sense to find those 3. This is something we don't have in the ninja world, otherwise we would have hooked up long ago. But didn't he do this last time?" The Uchiha was not surprised at all. It was not unusual for the blackened Otsutsuki Hagoromo to do anything. No, last time he waited quietly for Naruto and Sasuke to work together to seal Momoshiki. In that case, the luck of the ninja world would reach its highest level and it would be more beneficial for him to devour it. No matter what, seeing his other self betraying the ninja world again, Sage of 6 Paths still felt uncomfortable. Then I discovered that there was another 6th level aura in the crowd. He looked at Gaara and said, "Gaara is also the 6th level? It has to be you." Liu Dao tried to train Hashirama and Tabarama at the beginning, but it was useless. The established force of fate would always pull them back to their original trajectory. Only Rasa, a soul that does not belong to the ninja world, can interfere with the correction of the power of fate. 6 Paths Immortal XN. Everyone still respects the Sage of 6 Paths who protects the ninja world. Yes, with another 6th level, our chances of winning will be better. Gaara's qualifications were originally only at the cage level. Under the influence of Rasa, he and Shukaku have now reached the 6th level. As well as his subordinates who are about to break through the 6th level, all they need is time. The immortal of 6 Paths sometimes wonders. In fact, he also discovered a time rift in the last timeline. If Luo Sha had been summoned at that time, would the last tragedy have been avoided? No, Rasa has influenced many people and changed the direction of the ninja world, but it is of no use to a dead person like himself. As long as the day of your death comes, your soul will dissipate. I won't be willing to give in, but there is no other way. Luo Sha saw the loneliness in the eyes of the immortal of 6 Paths, and roughly guessed what the immortal of 6 Paths was thinking, but there was really nothing he could do about it, because the current immortal of 6 Paths was a type of reverse cause and effect. Death is the result of what has already happened and there is nothing he can do to change it. Before Luo Sha could comfort him, the 6 Paths immortal said first, "Okay, I'm enlightened and don't need anyone to comfort me." On the other hand, Luo Sha, if Hagoromo cooperates with Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki, the opponent will have 4 6 Paths level. Jinshiki and Urashiki are only the beginners of the 6 Paths, but Momoshiki is the intermediate level of the 6 Paths, and Hagoromo, who was originally the advanced 6 Paths, can still burst out of strength for a short time even if he is injured now. This power is not weak, and they are the attacker. It's not good for us that we're on defense. Luo Sha was not very nervous. Are you sure they are the attackers? Liu Dao, you have learned so much knowledge. You need to learn it and apply it, and you can't just let your personality fly. In the past few months, you can't passively defend because you can't find Hagoromo. Now you have captured his aura. Why should we passively defend? Of course we should take the initiative. At first, it was impossible to capture where Otsutsuki Hagoromo was hiding. Now that Otsutsuki Hagoromo couldn't bear it and jumped out, naturally there was no need to play hide and seek. The ninja world is our territory. If we really fight on Earth, we feel sorry for them but not sorry for them. What do you think? Besides, the battle is all about intelligence. Look at the six paths masters here, Kaguya, Shin, Jugo, Uchiha Madara, and now Gaara. Not only that, Kimimaro and the others can also fight the six paths together, especially after the incident on the moon. They have further studied the matter of joint attacks. Not only us, the Cage and Jinchuriki of the other four great ninja villages joined forces with Nagato and the others to come up with a battle formation that is not weaker than the six paths level attack. The advantage lies entirely with us. And we are against Jinchiki, Urashiki, and Momoshiki, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo's attack methods are very clear, but their understanding of us is limited to Naruto and Sasuke. And you don't think of yourself as such a waste. Although you can't kill people, you can still hinder the enemy. Why don't you just let others do the final blow? What else do you think you have to worry about? Now there are four of them. When we come together, we can catch them all in one fell swoop. I have even thought about the location. There is no more suitable final battlefield than Kaguya's heavenly palace. When the time comes, I will seal off that space and no one can escape. Six paths, immortal eyes, one light. That's right, now it's no longer darkness and light, but darkness and light. He has long been familiar with the attack methods of Otsutsuki Kinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki, and can target them deliberately. Although he can't kill anyone, he can completely hinder Otsutsuki Hagoromo. It would be great if Urasa ends everything then. In the previous life, Otsutsuki Hagoromo put too much pressure on him, like a nightmare, and he still hasn't come out of it until now. It's his own horn. He only thought about how to defend, not how to take the initiative to attack. He didn't even think about how his own side was now strong enough to crush the opponent. The immortal of six paths laughed dumbly, and for a moment he felt that the burden on his body was lighter. Yes, calling you here is the wisest decision I made this time, but does Mother agree? If there is a space war in the heavenly palace, this space will be shattered forever. Kaguya's voice came from far away. Silly boy, you have sacrificed your life. Wouldn't your mother even be willing to part with you? After becoming the moon goddess, and without the oppression of the Otsutsuki clan, Kaguya became more and more like a goddess. Hemura's soul stays by Kaguya's side, and the Otsutsuki clan on the moon also worships Kaguya as their ancestor. Only the Sage of Six Paths refused Kaguya's invitations to reminisce several times, and even ran away when Kaguya came to visit. He was just like a child who did something wrong and dared not face his mother. Son, at least let your mother see you before that day comes. Got it, mother. From Luo Sha's point of view, the immortal of six paths is just awkward and almost dead. Why is he still struggling here? If you don't go, I'll go. Shenwei activates, puts his cronies into the Shenwei space, and flies to the moon. Kaguya was a little disappointed when she saw that Rasa was alone. Then the child still refuses to come to see me. It's just a quarrel. He will probably come by himself soon. Let's get down to business. I have thought of a way to save him, but you need to give me your giant reincarnation eye. End of this chapter. Chapter 240, Are you going to join them to kill me? Chapter 240, Are you coming with them to kill Maize? I feel it. Kaguya's trader is not far ahead. On the moon, Jinshiki, Momoshiki, Urashiki, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo landed. Although they had temporarily formed an alliance, they were still wary of Otsutsuki Hagoromo. A battle even broke out among several people in the name of testing. If Otsutsuki Hagoromo hadn't been powerful enough, he would have been killed by the three of them. They only felt disgusted and uncomfortable with the mixed-race Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Even the information about Otsutsuki Hagoromo was not taken seriously. Although I heard that there are many six paths masters on the earth, but they are all six paths, the strongest must be the Otsutsuki clan. Especially when I heard that the so-called lords of the three holy lands were no match for Kaguya thousands of years ago. You must know that Kaguya's fighting talent is the worst among the Otsutsuki clan and is only used to feed the sacred tree. The few people present were all capable of sweeping Kaguya. Although Kaguya seems to have reached the high level of six paths at her peak, the strongest among them, Momoshiki, has reached the intermediate level of six paths. But the gap between the six levels is not as far as the shadow level and the six levels. It is not impossible for the weak to defeat the strong, especially since all of Kaguya's abilities have been restrained by a few people. Even if you hide in Hiraizaka, you can catch it back. Kaguya probably had no idea whether she dared to fight after seeing the three of them. Therefore, the so-called masters of the earth are not taken seriously. Kaguya's men are defeated, let alone the remaining masters who have newly entered the six paths level. No matter how strong it is, can the Otsutsuki clan with the Samsara Eye be stronger? Isn't it because you Otsutsuki Hagoromo is so strong because you have Otsutsuki's bloodline? Without the Samsara Eye, do you think you can tie with us? Don't know what's good or bad. The battle between the three of them did not result in a winner, and each of them did not even use their full strength. Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki could feel that Otsutsuki Hagoromo was using them, but they were also using Otsutsuki Hagoromo. According to what Otsutsuki Hagoromo said, what needs to be guarded against is Rasa, who has the same strength as him. Even this Rasa is so strong because he has some Otsutsuki bloodline. They knew that there would be a battle with Otsutsuki Hagoromo, but that was only after the enemy was defeated. Although they are conceited, if they really rush into being surrounded by so many six-level masters, a few people may not be able to avoid casualties. In this case, they will deal with them one by one. They first came to the moon. Otsutsuki Hagoromo said, "Ahead is the residence of the Otsutsuki clan on the earth. They are the descendants of Kaguya's youngest son and my brother Otsutsuki Hamura, and Kaguya currently lives among them. Don't you even call me mother? You are such a good son, and you are just a mixed race, but you actually call yourself the Otsutsuki clan." Momoshiki sarcastically said, "No matter what you say, although the feelings of the Otsutsuki clan are weak, as Kaguya's son, Otsutsuki Hagoromo led us to attack Kaguya first. How can we trust you with such a character?" What makes him angry is that a descendant of mixed blood actually dares to take the noble Otsutsuki as his surname. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was not angry either. The mother of his own world died at his own hands, and the mother of this world was not the same thing. Besides, they are all using each other, so no one looks down on the other. Now the center of their defense should be the earth. The best way is to defeat them one by one. We must act quickly. If time goes by, it will definitely arouse the alert of Luo Sha and others, and we may be passive by then. You are more or less half of Otsutsuki's bloodline. The four of us are here. Even if we really come, what are you afraid of? That Luo Sha is still very powerful, don't underestimate him. Otsutsuki Hagoromo concealed his true situation. He just said that as the guardian of the ninja world, he was replaced by Rasa through conspiracy and was hunted down. Even during the battle, they deliberately acted weaker than the three of them, just to make them underestimate the enemy and suffer a big loss at the hands of Luo Sha. It would be best if they died together. Otsutsuki Hagoromo has his own plans. Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki are just cooperating, not allies. The only one you can really rely on is yourself. In fact, as long as he regains his strength, Luo Sha doesn't take him seriously, let alone the immortal of six paths who can't kill anyone now. But to recover, he needs to swallow the origin of the world, or the chakra fruit. It is too difficult to swallow the origin now that Luo Sha and others are there, so the only thing left is to swallow the chakra fruit. There are only 4 people in this world who can turn into chakra fruits, the 4 pure-blooded Otsutsuki clan members, Jinshiki, Momoshiki, Urashiki, and Kaguya. The real purpose of his cooperation with the 3 was not to let them share the offensive pressure, but to calculate against them. When they and Luo Sha and others were defeated, he would devour the 4 of them. 4 chakra fruits would be enough for him to regain his strength. At that time, with his own strength and the accumulation of the previous 4 worlds, he was enough to deal with an entire world without anyone's help. How could he be so embarrassed if many of his abilities weren't limited by his strength? Therefore, he acted neither strong nor weak in front of Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki, making them underestimate the enemy. He believed that Luo Sha would not miss this good opportunity. The Otsutsuki clan is arrogant. Although the 3 of them noticed that Otsutsuki Hagoromo's intentions were impure, they did so out of trust in their own strength and Otsutsuki Hagoromo's deliberate show of weakness during the battle. The heart that originally underestimated the enemy became even more underestimated. As expected, mixed blood is just mixed blood, tainted with the bad nature of the lower class. You will see what the real Otsutsuki clan is in a while. Several people have the ability to keep things under control but have not used it. They look down on Otsutsuki Hagoromo even more. He is so timid. No wonder he is just a mixed race. Originally, they only had to execute Kaguya, but since there are impure bloodlines left on the earth, they must be eliminated and the Otsutsuki clan cannot be shamed. It's also a good time to plant sacred trees on the earth again to absorb the earth's vitality. The 3 of them swaggered into the Otsutsuki station on the moon. By the way, this Otsutsuki station must be destroyed. Some impure Otsutsuki clan dare to call themselves Otsutsuki. There is no need for their existence anymore. However, after entering, the 3 of them discovered that something was wrong. There is no breath of living people in such a huge place, which means there must be a trap ahead, and it should be impossible to grasp the specific time of arrival of myself and others. He immediately looked back at Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Tashi said, "Did you betray us?" Otsutsuki Hagoromo took 2 steps back. How is it possible? Your murderous intention is too strong and has been sensed by the Earth's consciousness. If you feel it, feel it. The 3 of Otsutsuki didn't care. They were just here to kill for fun anyway. Urashiki took a step forward and said, "Kaguya, there's no need to hide. You're not the only one who knows how to use Hirazaka." A black dimensional door opened in the air and Kaguya stepped out. Looking at Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki and their son from another world. He ignored Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki, but said indifferently to Otsutsuki Hagoromo, "Are you coming with them to kill me?" End of this chapter. Chapter 241 The Solved Jin Shi. Chapter 241 The Solved Jin Shi. Even Otsutsuki Hagoromo from the parallel world is still his son after all. In the end, Jinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki were the first to kill him. It was fake that Kaguya was not sad. Judging from the fact that he was sealed 1,000 years ago, his education was indeed a failure. No matter which world it is, Otsutsuki Hagoromo showed no reaction. If he could use his identity to carry out a sneak attack without knowing it, it was meaningless now. Now that preparations have been made, I have underestimated Luo Sha. As for everyone else, please come out. Come out. Why didn't you come in? The arrival of Awaken Hirazaka instantly enveloped Otsutsuki Hagoromo, Kinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki into the world of Ten no Gachu. Jinshi was sent into the sand space. Momoshiki was sent to the ice space. Urashiki was sent to the hypergravity space. And Otsutsuki Hagoromo was sent to the ball space. In the sand space, Otsutsuki Kinshiki was very uneasy after being separated from Momoshiki. His duty was to protect Momoshiki. Even if he sacrificed his own life, destroying the enemy was his second task. But it's not that easy for him to leave now. Appearing in front of him are Jugo, who has entered the Six Paths of Sage mode, Gaara, who has entered the Six Paths mode of Sand Gold Shikaku, as well as Kimimaro, Temari, Genkuro, and Kirigakure in the Sage state. The 5 major ninja villages led by Mizukage, Terumi and Yugao allied forces. We are facing an intruder, so there is no need to follow the rules of one-on-one. It is normal to surround and beat them. Jinshiki is a strong fighter in physical arts, so those who deal with Jinshiki are control-type people, as well as Jugo and Kimimaro, who are the forwards. Jinshi didn't want to fight, not because he was afraid, but he just wanted to be by Momoshi's side. Activate the blur immediately. Although Kaguya's Ten no Gachu is very powerful, Jinshi's hollow can travel through space. But at this moment, 2 sand gold eyes appeared in the sky with divine power. Under the gaze of divine power, the virtualization of the golden style was stopped. This is the ability of Samsara Eye. Jinshi's virtualization was prevented. Although he didn't know what the main Jikayo Sharingan was, he could feel the power of the Samsara Eye. Since we are sure that we cannot go to Momoshiki-sama right away, let's resolve the battle quickly! Jinshi didn't pay attention to the enemy blocking him in front of him. He beat his chest and looked up to the sky like a gorilla and screamed, while a red chakra weapon appeared behind him. It is a special form of Jin style seeking Jade, the god of waves. The axe, the hook, and the fork can be changed at will. The god of wave is then thrown. However, it was immediately blocked by huge waves caused by sand. Jinshi sneered, his boe god couldn't be blocked by any ninjutsu. It was the embodiment of the Taoist jade, but then he felt that the boe god was stuck in a quagmire, and it could break through the sand very quickly at first. But as the sand became increasingly dense, the god of waves was completely swallowed up by the sand. Gaara has already filled the sand in the sand space with his own chakra. Since we are both at the 6th level, I will not be crushed by you. Seeing that Bo Waishan was ineffective, Jinshi wanted to rush into the crowd and eliminate them directly with force. However, he originally wanted to activate the skill god chase, but found that his feet were tightly wrapped in sand. Not only that, Yugao transformed into Vulpix and spit out acid. Terumi used melting release, and Kuratsuchi used the lime condensation technique to condense the gold. Locked firmly. Roar! Jinshi used all his strength to finally break free, but before he could slow down, a second wave of attacks followed by various control-type moves, locking Jinshi down again. It's like a person trapped in a swamp. Even though he has great power, he has no room to use it. There are more than a dozen people, all with strength not weaker than the shadow level, and they all have immortal mode, which is not the kind of painless attack in the original work. Jinshi can only be helpless and furious. It seems that he still underestimates the people on Earth, as if he is being targeted. He is in a hard battle, not to mention Lord Momoshiki. Jinshi no longer hides his full power. The whole person turned into the form of Momoshiki after transformation like a gorilla demon. Then his fingers glowed with red light, and he hit the ground with a hammer. The sandy ground was shaken, and huge waves were set off like sea water. Then Jinshi launched the god chase and attacked Jongo at the front. After activating the golden style of the transformed form, his strength was greatly improved. But facing Jugo, who had been practicing hard these days, he could not win overwhelmingly. Although it can be seen that it is stronger than the death god form that Jugo incarnates, its strength is limited. If it were a fair fight, Jinshi would naturally win, but now it was a siege. The two of them clenched their hands and were in a stalemate. At this moment, Kimimaro rushed over and thrust out the bone spear in his hand. Seeing that the bone spear was about to pierce his heart, Jinshi turned slightly sideways, and the bone spear was inserted into the shoulder blade and came out through the body. At first, Jinshi didn't care, but the next moment, the power that was evenly matched with Chongwu's was suddenly suppressed, and the wound where he was stabbed actually began to decay bit by bit. To kill the ashes. Only then did Jinshi realize that the bone spear that pierced his body was Kaguya's signature skill of killing the gray bones together. The whole body of the person hit by this move will be rotten. Although he has a way to resist it, he can't make a move. During these times, stimulated by Gaara's promotion to the 6th level, Kimimaro came to the moon and asked Kaguya for advice. With Kaguya's help, he has been able to master the power of killing ash bones together, and can use it even without entering the state of the skeletal reaper. Kaguya also told Kimimaro that if he could completely master the power of killing ash bones together, it might be the time for Kimimaro to enter the 6 Paths level. While using the power of 6 Paths to repair the wounds caused by Kimimaro, he blocked Jugo's attack. On the other side, ninja masters from other villages joined forces and used various control skills to continuously hit Jinshiki's body. Jin Shi had already felt that he couldn't win. I really underestimated these earthlings. In Jinshi's eyes, being besieged is not an excessive thing. Failure only shows that you are too weak. But you can lose, but you can't die so worthless. Gaara in the sky condensed 9 seeking jade, preparing to use magnetic gold rays to end the battle. My father was right. Although the Otsutsuki clan was strong, they were not invincible if they specifically used restrictive methods after knowing the opponent's intelligence. There is no possibility of reconciliation against Otsutsuki's 3 people. I felt the breath of death from Gaara's concentrated power. But I can never die like this! He used all his strength to push Jugo away, pulled out the bone spear, and no longer stopped him from killing the ash bones. God Wave I condensed an odachi and slashed at the magnetic gold ray emitted by Gaara. The magnetic gold solid line was cut into 2, but still made a circle, and finally hit Otsutsuki Kinshiki's body. Jinshi's body disintegrated even faster. No exclamation! This was Jinshi's last thought. With the activation of the maximum power of the hollow, the whole person transformed into a chakra fruit and flew towards the space where Momoshiki was. But this time, Kamui deliberately did not stop him. End of this chapter. Chapter 242. Urashiki is unable to fight back. Chapter 242. Urashiki is unable to fight back hypergravity space. Urashiki was a little careless when facing Shin in the goddess form and a group of ninja alliance elites behind him. Although he was almost unable to move due to the gravity, he didn't panic at all. In Kaguya's heavenly palace, she can leave at any time as long as she activates the underworld horizon. However, when he tried to activate Yomi Horizon, he was shocked to find that the space was locked and Yomi Horizon could not be activated. The only thing that can limit Yomi Hirasaka is his spatial ability that is more advanced than his. Who can have stronger spatial ability than the Otsutsuki clan? Not even Kaguya in front of him. Shin released the void-blocking scroll in his hand, which Rasa deliberately made for Otsutsuki Urashiki. But Otsutsuki Urashiki still didn't panic. He was only a 6th level. This was looking down on himself. I've heard that you, Kaguya's defeated general, have already failed once, but you still dare to attack me. Who told you to come and destroy the earth? A red fishing rod with condensed chakra appeared in his hand and he swung it towards Shin, but under the gravity, the rod was only halfway out. It's really difficult to handle. Urashiki frowned. Gravity space. He is not good at physical arts and fighting. If Jinshiki was in the hypergravity space, his strong body would probably be able to adapt to the gravity of the space in an instant. However, this was not a problem for Urashiki. The power of 6 paths was activated and he used the power of 6 paths to offset the gravity of space. However, before he could launch an attack, 2 figures, one green and one purple, rushed out from Shin's side, faster than lightning. The 8th gate of the 8-gate dungeon is open. The 7th activity of the 7-day breathing method. Facing Urashiki, who is not good at taijutsu, he naturally chooses the person who is best at taijutsu to attack, and Shin is not the main force. Kai and Zai Luo, 2 strong taijutsu masters, were also very happy to change from enemies to allies. Green and yellow chakra rushed to Urashiki's side in an instant. Then there is a set of combined physical skills for two people. He directly beat Urashiki until he was unable to fight back. Within a few seconds, his nose and face were already bruised and swollen, and he saw that he could not fight back at all. His white eyes turned into blue samsara eyes, and the next moment he activated time backwards. The world was shaken. Time went back to the moment when Kai and Zyluo rushed out from behind Shin. Within a millisecond, Urashiki immediately flew into the sky and evaded Kai and Zyluo's joint attack. Kai and Zyluo were also surprised that there was someone who could dodge the combined attacks of the two. They could only fly, and both of them had the ability to stay in the air for a short period of time. Just when they wanted to chase him, they found that the originally high-spirited Otsutsuki Urashiki had a bruised nose and a swollen face, and was beaten horribly. Look at Urashiki's eyes. The blue samsara eyes are the time-traveling that Lord Luo Sha said. Seiyun warned. Otsutsuki Urashi quickly healed his pig-headed face. He wanted to deny it at first, but it seemed that they knew all about his abilities. But facing Kai from the 8 gates and Zyluo from the 7th level, he didn't dare to make any big claims. He had just been beaten severely, and he had no power to fight back. If Jin Shi were here, he could still resist with his strong body, but close combat was not his specialty. There is no way to even go back in time. This skill of time retrieval can go back a few seconds, but the damage that has been caused cannot be eliminated. The original intention is to discover the opponent's weaknesses and then defeat them. However, facing Zyluo and Kai, time retrieval has no effect, because the two of them have no weaknesses. If you want to defeat a strong person with physical skills, you can only have stronger physical skills than them, or you can use distance to consume them. The former is impossible, and the latter is impossible. Those ninjas who are watching with eager eyes cannot give themselves a chance to kill the two of them slowly. Going back in time without any disadvantages can only be used to save one's life this time. It's like a deliberate arrangement for myself, but how do the people on Earth know about my abilities? We must seriously use our full strength. Urashiki's eyes turned into red Sharingan eyes with Magatama shining on them. He ate the red fish basket and fishing rod, and then ate his own eyes, and a golden Rinnegan eye grew on his forehead. A door of light appeared in front of Urashiki, and a big bird flew out and merged with Urashiki. His face was covered with black stripes, his eyes turned into golden samsara eyes again, his arms turned into huge wings, and his feet transform into giant claws. 6 paths mode, crane form. Urashiki's strength exploded, and the impact of gravity was minimal. Tensu her Yusei Minghan. A large number of purple chakra energy balls of different shapes are launched from the wings and attack Murasaki and Kai. They both accelerated again at the same time and nodded to each other. 8-gate Dunjia formation, open. Ultimate activity, turn on. His strength instantly reached the level of the 6th path. 2 streams of red blood steam rose up, transformed into a dragon shape, and roared at Urashiki of the crane. The purple chakra emitted by Tensuher Yusei Minjuhan was instantly shattered. Then 2 blood dragons devoured Urashiki. Time regression is activated again. It was so dangerous, Urashiki gasped for air. Almost died himself. Most of the body was broken, and the power of the 6 paths forcibly repaired it. It seems that if you want to kill Urashiki, you have to do it the moment he reacts. Otherwise he can recover with the vitality of the 6 paths level. Realizing that the second time backtracking was launched, Zyluo analyzed. Then try that move. Kai said that unlike Zyluo, his 8-gate Dunjia cannot last for too long and the battle must be resolved as soon as possible. Zyluo agreed and shouted towards Ziyuan, "Lord Ziyuan, please forgive me." Shin waved to express receipt. Otsutsuki Urashiki already had the intention of retreating. This type of taijutsu ninja was too restrained for him, because it was taijutsu and there was no chakra for him to absorb. His own strength cannot be used at all. It was very frustrating to fight. However, the space was blocked and he had no way to escape. At the moment Otsutsuki Yura was thinking about countermeasures, he suddenly felt his body relax. Kaguya cooperated with the two to remove the gravity of the hypergravity space and returned to normal levels. Kaguya has handed over the authority of the gravity space to Shin. Urashiki had been using the power of 6 paths to counteract gravity, but now there was suddenly no gravity, and his body was instantly unbalanced. Ziluo and Kai seemed to have received a bonus. They used their strongest combat power at the same time, with 1 and 2 legs in succession, and the combined wind pressure nailed the Otsutsuki Yura style to the air. I just activated the time retrieval and it was too late to activate it again. I saw 2 huge dragon shadows rushing over. Night Kai. Dragon fights in the wild. Chank's Yubo Meteor Fate Dragon Palace. The chakra all over the body formed into a giant oarfish, but as if the fake dragon saw the real dragon, the oarfish was torn apart by Murasaki and Kai's dragons, followed by the Otsutsuki Yura style. Back in time. Finally, I had time to activate time retrieval, but found that only the head was left. The chakra was exhausted and it could not be repaired. Such an injury would leave Otsutsuki Urashiki with nothing but death. But at this time, the blocked space became loose. I can only rely on you, Momoshiki. Golden Hirasaka activates. Come to the space where Momoshiki is. Otsutsuki Urashiki turns into a chakra fruit and floats towards Momoshiki. End of this chapter. Chapter 243 Evenly Matched Momoshiki. Chapter 243 Evenly Matched Momoshiki in the ice space. Taoshi was received with the highest standards. Uchiha Madara, Otsutsuki Kaguya, and Otsutsuki Tonri. However, at this time, Tonri Otsutsuki's body was controlled by Hamura Otsutsuki. Kaguya was resurrected and let go of her obsession. Hamura's soul body was stabilized. After Tonri knew that he had misunderstood Hamura's meaning, he wanted to apologize with death, but Hamura was stopped. He who never stopped him is also responsible. Now facing the upcoming attack of the Otsutsuki clan, it is better to retain strength and contribute to the ninja world. As an eyeless person, Otsutsuki Hamura was the best descendant. When preparing for the battle, Otsutsuki Hamura made a special trip to Konoha and borrowed the highly concentrated Byakugan from the Hyuga clan. They were all members of the Hyuga clan who had died in battle before. Under the operation of Hamura Otsutsuki, 10 pairs of highly concentrated white eyes merged into 1 pair. In fact, this is also the method left by Otsutsuki Hamura. Only the fusion of the Byakugan of the earth and the moon can open the true reincarnation eye and prevent the Moon clan from leaving the ninja world. By the way, the caged bird of the Hyuga clan on earth was also abolished. Whether it is the moon or the earth, everyone is engaged in the division of clan families. At this moment, Otsutsuki Hamura is controlling Tonri's body, and his eyes are the Tenseiken. 3 6 paths besieged Otsutsuki Momoshiki. Without him, Momoshiki is the last true high-ranking member of the Otsutsuki clan. Since Otsutsuki Shibaju disappeared, the pure-blood Otsutsuki clan, which relies on Otsutsuki Shibaju's blessing to give birth to offspring, has been declared completely extinct. The union of the Otsutsuki clan itself cannot give birth to a child, can only intermarry with other races. However, the Otsutsuki clan, which maintains its own blood, rejects this behavior. Once an Otsutsuki with active blood is discovered, it must be eliminated. The Otsutsuki clan is not an invincible existence in the universe. With the disappearance of Otsutsuki Shibaju and suspected death, there is no new Otsutsuki to replenish the bloodline, and intermarriage is not allowed. Plus the wear and tear of war. There are only a few members of the Otsutsuki clan left. Like Kaguya, there are many Otsutsuki clan members who have completely taken root on a certain planet and never come back. The nobility of the Otsutsuki clan is determined by how many blessings they receive from Otsutsuki Shibaju. The Otsutsuki Momoshiki with more blessings will not only have a high status, but will also awaken many special abilities. Just like the power of time. Compared with Otsutsuki Urashiki, who can stop a person's time with the help of props, Momoshiki's ability can truly stop time completely. So just to be on the safe side, a full 3/6 path level besieged Otsutsuki Momoshiki. Even the always arrogant Madara Uchiha agreed to the siege proposal. As a god, he could no longer be willful. However, the large number of people made Otsutsuki Momoshiki excited. Through Otsutsuki Hagoromo's words, he already knew that there were not 2 six-path masters on the earth, and now half of them were targeting him, which showed that they valued him. Only the strong will be valued. Very good. Since you have given me enough respect, I will also give you low-class people a good time. Where is Luo Sha? Isn't Luo Sha the strongest person on earth? Why didn't you see him facing me? Are you actually sending him to deal with others? Not seeing Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the three of them saw Rasa through their reincarnation eyes, which made Momoshiki a little unhappy. You'd better defeat us first and then talk about it. Be the first to enter the six-path mode and use physical skills to attack Momoshiki. In fact, they thought about letting Zailuo and Guy deal with Momoshiki at the beginning. After all, Momoshiki's physical skills were also weak. However, compared with Urashiki's time ability, once Momoshiki activates Time Stop, people who know Taijutsu will only become a living target and will not be able to deal with Urashiki. However, there were other Taijutsu masters following Uchiha Madara in his attack. Tsunade and Reikage followed Uchiha Madara on the left and right, entering Sage mode at the same time. Momoshiki fought with 3 people and was crushed. There is no way that a shortcoming is a shortcoming, and it cannot be made up for by arrogance. However, Momoshiki cannot be defeated with physical skills. The Shinra Tensei was launched, and only Uchiha Madara watched as he also launched the Shinra Tensei to offset it, but was obviously suppressed by Momoshiki. Madara's Shinra Tensei was compressed 3 meters around his body. Kurabi and Naruto tried to support them, but were blown away by Shinra Tenjang again. Shen Luo Qianzhang. The intact Nagato stepped forward. He had been treated by Jugo and he no longer needed the 6 paths of pain. He could exert his full strength. However, he is weaker than Madara and can only protect 1 meter of his body at the moment. Protecting Kurabi, Naruto, Reikage and Tsunade behind them. Tsunade, damn it, Senbo Gomen. Although he could already activate Senjutsu on his own, the cooperation of Fukasaku and Shima was still more powerful, and the peace-loving Jugo did not kill all the Toad clan after occupying MT. Mayaboku. The power of the Senjutsu was huge, but Momoshi opened the palm of his left hand, revealed his Samsara Eye, absorbed Jiraiya's attack, and then hit Madara Uchiha with his backhand. Uchiha Madara did not dodge and also used the sealing technique to absorb. However, Momoshiki did not simply release Jiraiya's technique. With the blessing of the Samsara Eye, the power of this technique has become more powerful. After Madara absorbed more than half of it, half of his body was blown away. Fortunately, the vitality of the 6th path level was tenacious and he recovered quickly. Momoshiki didn't intend to let go of this opportunity, and immediately stepped forward with a black stick in her hand, intending to kill Uchiha Madara. Earth Exploding Stars. Nagato activated the Earth Explosion Star to seal Momoshiki. 6 paths, Earth explodes heaven and stars. Uchiha Madara also followed suit and used the Earth Blast Star. The boulders floated up and enveloped Nagato's Earth Blast Star again. However, not even a second before the Earth Explosion Star was formed, cracks appeared on it. Then the Earth Explosion Star was exploded, causing boulders to scatter. Bai immediately stepped forward and used Ice Escape to gather the boulders together, and attacked Momoshiki again. Momoshiki raised her hand again to absorb Shiro's attack. Then it rebounded again, and a huge iceberg fell towards everyone. 80 Gods Air Strike. Kaguya takes action, and the shock wave smashes the iceberg into pieces, and at the same time, she condenses the expanding Seeking Jade to attack Momoshiki. The attack intensity of this move could not be absorbed even by Momoshiki's Rinnegan, but Momoshiki was not afraid and condensed a red Rasengan that resembled a Rasengan. Crimson Spiral. The expanding Seeking Jade collided with the Crimson Spiral, and was then shattered by the Crimson Spiral, flying towards Otsutsuki Kaguya with unabated momentum. The Golden Wheel is reborn. Himura condensed the Seeking Jade into the Golden Wheel Reincarnation Blast, finally neutralizing Momoshiki's Crimson Spiral. However, to be precise, it was the combined efforts of him and his mother that offset it. As expected of the leader of the Otsutsuki clan who came to Earth this time, even though he was fully prepared, he still couldn't gain the upper hand against Momoshiki. While they were fighting, Kaguya had already sensed that Jinchiki and Urashiki were completely suppressed by their own people. I also realized how ridiculous my previous idea was, actually wanting to rely on Shiro to fight Otsutsuki Momoshi. No matter how many there was no point in facing Momoshi's range attack. End of this chapter. Chapter 244. Chapter 244. Kaguya and others were shocked, and Momoshiki was also shocked. He was one of the Otsutsuki clan with the most blessings and the strongest bloodline. Although he seemed to have the upper hand, only he knew how difficult it was to deal with it. It's simply a shame that a mere earthling is no weaker than the pure-blooded warriors of the Otsutsuki clan. Several times, Taoshi almost used the time pause to press the bottom of the box. I originally thought that dealing with the people on Earth was just easy, and even with Kaguya, the shame of the Otsutsuki clan, it would not cause much trouble, but now I have to pay attention to it. Chakra surged, the samsara eye opened on his forehead, and his whole person transformed into a more powerful form. There are black vertical stripes all over the body, and the horns on the head are even bigger. Then the firebird pheasant hunting, the multi-dragon-headed snake body Kame and Yukai, and the lava giant ape Iwa were summoned. However, summoned beasts of this level are no longer a threat to everyone, and there is no need for the main force to take action. Naruto transformed into the 9 tails and fought with Kame and Yukai. Kurabi transformed into the 8 tails and took the lava giant away, and Nagato summoned a giant strange bird fights a pheasant. Seeing that the ninja beast condensed with the chakra he summoned did not hinder the enemy's combat power much. Even after the transformation, Momoshiki felt tired for the first time when facing so many enemies. The fighting power of the earth is too much. He is very strong, but it is true that 2 fists cannot defeat 4 hands. Just like now, everyone didn't give Otsutsuki Momoshiki a chance to show off, and crazy attacks followed one after another. Immortal Method, Burning Escape, Burning Sun. Immortal Method, Spiral Pill. Immortal Magic, Tailed Beast Jade. The most elites staying here to help are all ninjas who can cast senjutsu, including Jinchuriki and shadow-level experts from each village. In an instant, various ninjutsu were flying in the space. Even Otsutsuki Momoshiki felt it was tricky. Even if he used the Rinnegan, he couldn't absorb them all. Moreover, these moves would cause a lot of damage to his body. Even Otsutsuki Momoshiki couldn't fully digest them. I didn't expect that the low-class people who looked down on them could unite to have such strength. Reincarnation Tianzhen. After deflecting all the ninjutsu, Momoshiki also knew that he could no longer resist. He couldn't bear it. However, as long as he swallowed the golden technique and gained energy replenishment, it would be meaningless to have more people. But he soon realized something was wrong. Although Kaguya's Ten no Gachu is a space ability, Jinchiki has Hollow, and Urashiki has Huikun Hirasaka. If he was targeted in this way, how could the 2 of them not be targeted otherwise? It would be impossible not to support him. Momoshiki believed in the loyalty of the 2 of them. Qianchong is Kaguya's technique, so quickly subdue Kaguya and let her take him to help Jinchiki and Urashiki. Quickly rushing towards Kaguya, Madara and Himura immediately stood in front of Kaguya. Get away, I'm not looking for you. Waving 2 black sticks in their hands, Madara and Yukong immediately took out 6 tin sticks to block them. Taking advantage of the gap, Kaguya took the initiative to come closer, dug out the bones from the palm of his hand and pierced into Momoshiki's body. The two killed the ashes together. Even Momoshiki's strength couldn't make up for the collapse of her body. No exclamation, he must not die here, so he distanced himself from the three of them and frantically used the power of the 6 paths to repair his broken body. At this time, Inyukai Kenmei, Pheasant Hunting, and Saruiwa, who were summoned by Momoshiki, were shattered by Kyuubi, Nagato, and Kurabi respectively. Nagato came to Madara, and the two of them used their strength together. Banchan Tianyan, Momoshiki, who had just left not far away, was forcibly pulled over. Kaguya has once again prepared 2 gray bones to kill together. But at this time, cracks appeared in the space on the left and right at the same time, and 2 chakra fruits appeared on the left and right of Momoshiki. It's Jinshiki and Urashiki. Momoshi couldn't believe it. Jinshiki and Urashiki were actually dead. No wonder they didn't come to support her. The Otsutsuki clan had already withered, and now she was the only one left. Damn Kaguya, damn Earthlings, you all go to hell! After swallowing the chakra fruits of Jinshiki and Urashiki, the collapse caused by the ash bones of the shared killer stopped instantly. Momoshiki's form continued to change, becoming a huge evil ghost with black vertical stripes all over his body and long hair on his back. Take off your wings. The vertical eyes on his forehead, both eyes and hands turned into golden samsara eyes. You all, damn Earthlings, go to hell. A huge shockwave was sent out, but the support from everyone fighting against Jinshiki Urashiki from other dimensions also came. Kai and Ziluo, who had just been cured by Shin, entered the 8-door mode and 7th activity again, but this time their moves fell on Momoshi, who had already swallowed up Jinshiki and Urashiki, and their huge bodies just knelt down land. The physical body is enhanced. Although Momoshiki's fighting skills are average, the physical strength is already indestructible. Even the 8-gate Dunjia formation and ultimate activity cannot be defeated easily. Upon seeing this, Kaguya immediately switched the battlefield to a hypergravity space. However, even if the gravity was adjusted to the maximum, it had little effect against Momoshiki in the strongest form. It takes a little sway to get used to gravity. Seeing that the current battlefield was no longer something that non-6 path level could withstand, Kaguya moved all non-6 path level personnel to other dimensions. At this point, the tactics of indiscriminate bombing no longer worked. The only ones left were Shiro and Guy, whose combat power was comparable to the 6 paths level, and Kimimaro. Everyone present used their most powerful attacks to kill ash bones together. Yi Kai and Long fought in the wild, and all kinds of Taoist jade hit Taoshi one after another. So many attacks did seriously injure Momoshiki, but the combined strength of the 3 of them was very powerful. Taoshi's damaged body began to repair. Haha, it's useless. I am invincible in this form, and your attacks are ineffective. But just when Momoshiki was proud, the supergravity space was broken, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo fell out in embarrassment hanging on Momoshiki's body. Before Taoshi could ask questions, a huge black hole followed closely. The terrifying aura contained in it made even Momoshi feel scared. She couldn't take it hard and would be swallowed. He wanted to escape, but Otsutsuki Hagoromo launched 6 Earth explosive sky stars and locked Momoshiki's feet tightly. When the black hole completely fell on Taoshi, it quickly disappeared. At this time Luo Sha and 6 Paths Immortal also chased out. The black hole swallowed Momoshiki, swallowing and destroying it on a cosmic level, and even Momoshiki couldn't escape. The body and soul are gradually obliterated. But after all, he is the Otsutsuki clan. After the black hole's attack, Momoshiki's body regrouped, but it was in a severely weak state. Any 6 level could kill him. At this time, Otsutsuki Hagoromo, who had just disappeared, suddenly appeared again and swallowed Momoshiki. Then the aura in his body rose instantly, and he laughed loudly. My power is finally back. Now there is no one in the ninja world who can stop me. Are Luo Sha ready to die? When he turned around, he was surprised to find that Luo Sha didn't look panicked. Even other people. It seems that he has been waiting for this scene for a long time. Only the immortal of 6 paths said anxiously, confused, Luo Sha, why didn't you kill him just now? Now he is not even my opponent. Luo Sha said, don't worry, this is the state we've been waiting for. The fun begins now. End of this chapter. Chapter 245 You are just a pathetic person. Chapter 245 You are just a pathetic person back in time. In the initial ball space, Otsutsuki Hagoromo was attacked from both sides by Rasha and 6 Paths Sage. Facing Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the culprit who destroyed the ninja world last time, his enemies were extremely jealous when they met. The sage of 6 Paths could no longer contain his anger and asked, Why? Why do you do this? Otsutsuki Hagoromo said nonchalantly, Why do I have to ask this question again in every world? The frivolous attitude completely angered the 6 Paths immortal, and he said excitedly, What nonsense are you talking about? Of course it's because I trust you. You degenerate. The last time there was a fluctuation in space, I went to check it out, and found Otsutsuki Hagoromo, who was seriously injured after breaking through the boundary. I also learned about the existence of parallel worlds and time travelers from the other party's mouth. When Otsutsuki Hagoromo met himself in the parallel world, he was naturally full of curiosity. After learning that the ninja world he was in was destroyed by the time traveler, he also shared the same hatred. Then she kindly took him in and let him recover from his injuries. He didn't guard against his other self at all, and even gradually gave up the authority of the earth to the other person. At that time, he even jokingly said that he had a helper and could finally take a break. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be the beginning of luring the wolf into the house. With enough time to recover, Otsutsuki Hagoromo secretly swallowed the energy of the ninja world. After Naruto and Sasuke finished sealing the Momoshiki, they took action to destroy the ninja world. At that time, he was no longer a match for Otsutsuki Hagoromo. If the Sage of 6 Paths hadn't told Otsutsuki Hagoromo about his ability to press the bottom of the box, the other party would definitely not have given him the chance to activate the Samsara Eye. The ninja world is gone now. Thinking of these, it was like experiencing the scene of being helpless and watching the destruction of the ninja world again. His emotions exploded, and he threw the swollen Kyudao. However, Otsutsuki Hagoromo didn't dodge at all, and calmly watched the swelling Kyudao jade swallow him up. His body was torn into pieces by the swelling Kyudao jade, but then he reorganized intact. He laughed and said, Sure enough, it's just as I guessed. You are already dead, but you have a special ability, otherwise I wouldn't have been hit. But what's the use? I'll just stand here and let you beat me. How can you really kill me? As soon as he finished speaking, electromagnetic cannon blast struck. Otsutsuki Hagoromo turned a seeking jade into a shield without caring, thinking that he could withstand Luo Sha's attack. As a result, the railgun directly penetrated the shield and the heart of Otsutsuki Hagoromo, spitting out a large mouthful of blood, and Rasa looked at the electromagnetic chakra mode in shock. The 3 blue Tau seeking jade behind him rotated together, emitting the powerful beam of light that was struck just now. Don't talk too much. You seem to have forgotten me. Interesting, I didn't take you seriously at first. Luo Sha, your 6th level doesn't seem to rely on yin-yang escape. Can a simple magnetic escape be so powerful? Although he was aware of Luo Sha's attack, his self-controlled yin-yang escape power was stronger than Luo Sha's, so he didn't pay much attention to it. Unexpectedly, the boat capsized in the gutter. Luo Sha's 6th level is not yin-yang dun, but magnetic dun that is full of magnetism. It is actually stronger than the attack of yin-yang dun. Luo Sha is a small level lower than himself. I still can't learn to be cautious. Last time, I was so arrogant that Sage of 6 Paths took advantage of him. However, when they reach this level of strength, simply killing the heart is no longer fatal. Even if they lose their body, they can still exist as a soul. The body repairs quickly. He asked Luo Sha, interesting, is it also deliberately targeting the power of my cultivation? But are you sure your magnetism can kill me? Are you really the soul of Luo Sha who came with me in the last world? Otsutsuki Hagoromo is also curious about rasa. Gaara's testing has proven that rasa is rasa, but his performance is definitely not the normal rasa, and he can also change the fate of the ninja world. Then it can only be Luo Sha from the previous world that came with him. What do you think? Naturally, Luo Sha would not be so stupid as to reveal his trump card. Since Magi had already led him astray, let's continue to act astray. It doesn't matter whether it is or not. Since you have seen my power, you should leave the earth after cultivating to the 6th path level instead of accompanying the 6th path immortal to throw yourself into a trap. Do you really think that my strength is like this? Anyway, I had also swallowed up 4 worlds. Huge chakra erupted from Otsutsuki Hagoromo's body, instantly raising his strength to 6 advanced levels. Luo Sha snorted coldly. You seem to feel very honored to have destroyed 4 worlds. You are probably more hateful than those time travelers. Otsutsuki Hagoromo sneered. What do you know? I clearly know that the world I am in is false, so I must reach the real world. Luo Sha said disdainfully, reality? What is reality? Just like what the immortal of 6 paths said, do you think the world of the time traveler must be real? Their world cannot be a certain animation, a certain movie, or a certain novel. A world in a different world. You only saw your experience become an anime in a different world. But can anime show the real you? Did you draw all your eating, drinking, sleeping cartoons one by one? Or is your experience from childhood to adulthood all fake? You have also traveled through 4 worlds, and you are different in each world, but you say that you are, is it fake? I think you are very sad. When you think that other people's world is the real world, you have already defined yourself as false in your heart. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you are looking for the so-called truth when you are a false person? Otsutsuki Hagoromo was speechless. In so many worlds, it's not like no one has debated with him, but no one has ever agreed with him as much as Luo Sha said. Especially the last sentence, the moment you don't believe that you are real, you have become a falsehood, but you are still looking for the so-called truth. Is it really my fault? Otsutsuki Hagoromo was in a daze. Otherwise, why could the origins of the 4 worlds not allow themselves to break through the shackles of the 6th path, break through to the realm of gods, and go to the real world? Luo Sha continued to hit the target. To be honest, I actually don't understand you. Even if you think the world is fake and want to go to the real world, you should break through the barriers of the world instead of destroying one after another. Parallel world. And you are only the ceiling of the ninja world, not this world, right? If you are really unwilling, you can leave the earth, go see the infinite universe, see other civilizations in the universe, and become the ceiling of this world. To put it bluntly, you are just timid because you can only be sure that you are in the ninja world is invincible, and it only dares to destroy the ninja world. Only when it has accumulated enough power can it dare to step out of the universe, right? To put it bluntly, you are just a pathetic person who only dares to bully the weak. End of this chapter. Chapter 246. Otsutsuki Hagoromo stepped on the painful foot. Chapter 246. Otsutsuki Hagoromo stepped on the painful foot. That's enough. What do you know? What do you know about the outside world? You are so arrogant. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was so angry that he lost his composure for the first time and showed off his defense. Luo Sha's words reminded him of very embarrassing memories. Kyudo became angry and attacked Luo Sha. The 6 Paths sage blocked Luo Sha, allowing Otsutsuki Hagoromo's Kyudo to smash him into pieces, and then recovered. Go to hell, you don't know anything at all, so what if I am not the strongest in the world, but now I am the strongest in the entire ninja world, and you all will die. Kyudo Jade's infinite bursts broke through the limit of 9 early on. Hundreds of Kyudo jade were thrown out by Otsutsuki Hagoromo, allowing the Kyudo jade to attack automatically, which is enough to show Otsutsuki Hagoromo's anger and dementia at this time. It's just that the overwhelming Tao-seeking jade attacks, seemingly insurmountable and even powerful, have no effect. The immortal of 6 paths turned into a human shield and stood in front of Luo Sha. He was repeatedly blown up and then reorganized. He even had time to talk to Luo Sha. Luo Sha, you are still the best. I asked him this last time, but he gave me a lesson instead and said that I sit in a well and look at the sky. Now, it seems that you have hit his point. Thinking back to the last confrontation with Otsutsuki Hagoromo, because it was him, he was suppressed the whole time. Because the 6 paths immortal has no experience in fighting with him. Otsutsuki Hagoromo has already destroyed 4 worlds and fought against 4 of himself. He already knows how to fight against himself, and he often neutralizes his own moves casually. Nowhere is it like now, attacking like a mad dog, without any rules. He is completely different from his previous calmness. Let's not be so calm. It's easy for him to react and pretend. It's also good to break the defense, Luo Sha reminded the 6 Paths sage. The current Otsutsuki Hagoromo has forcibly raised his power to the 6 Paths advanced level. Such attacks consume the power he overdrawn, so let him continue to be crazy. Better not to wake up. The 6 Paths sage also understood Luo Sha's words and cooperated with the infinite-seeking jade to fight back. Even Luo Sha fired a railgun into the void, as if the 2 of them were beaten by Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Haha, you finally know how powerful I am. He saw that the 2 men were beaten to dwarfs and narrowly escaped death. Otsutsuki Hagoromo excitedly increased the intensity of his attack, not noticing that the aura that had been forcibly raised to the 6th level was falling rapidly. He didn't feel it, but Luo Sha and the immortal of 6 paths felt it. Pretending to be even more embarrassed, Luo Sha was deliberately hit twice by Otsutsuki Hagoromo, causing him to scream in agony. The immortal of 6 paths couldn't help but admire him, he couldn't pretend. After attacking for a while, Otsutsuki Hagoromo finally realized something was wrong. He seemed to have been hit many times, but the opponent screamed miserably, but he did not suffer much damage. However, the strength that he had forcibly improved was almost exhausted. It was too late to react. Are you two kidding me? Have you been spotted? Congratulations on your correct answer. We were just playing tricks on you. Luo Sha gave an affirmative answer. Damn it, go to hell. The super-large jade expands and seeks the Tao jade. 99 Tao-seeking jade gathered together, but Luo Sha felt a little familiar. The immortal of 6 paths said, yes, I learned it from him. He also used the super-seeking jade to counteract Otsutsuki Hagoromo's, but after the collision, Otsutsuki Hagoromo's was stronger. After all, it was done by gathering the last strength. The super-seeking jade gradually pushed back the 6 paths immortals seeking jade. The fakes still want to defeat the genuine ones, so go to hell. How many times have you tried it and practiced it so many times? Do you think you can learn it after just one look? 6 Paths Sage thought it was normal, not as sure as Otsutsuki Hagoromo, but he was immortal now. He directly blocked the super-seeking jade that consumed a lot with his body. Luo Sha also took advantage of the situation and joined forces to attack. Tiu Dao Yu formed 3 super electromagnetic cannons and attacked Otsutsuki Hagoromo with all his strength. Otsutsuki Hagoromo dodged, but this time under the deliberate control of Luo Sha. Even if the first shot did not hit, the railgun continued to turn back and hit Otsutsuki Hagoromo continuously. The physical body is constantly being reborn and reorganized. Strength also increases consumption. Only then did Otsutsuki Hagoromo understand why the 6 Paths sage cultivated Rasha. It was different from the power of Yin-Yang Dun's magnetic escape. Every time it was hit on the body, the difficulty of recovery was several times that of Yin-Yang Dun's attack. He would rather be hit by the immortal of 6 paths with 10 rounds of seeking jade than be hit with a railgun by Luo Sha. The momentum dropped back to the 6-path intermediate level again. With the same strength, there is no way to crush Luo Sha, let alone the 6 paths immortal plundering the formation. Will he really fall into trouble this time? As Luo Sha said, when you admit that you are false, there is no truth. You are definitely not Luo Sha. Who are you? It was impossible for Luo Sha to say such a truth and use his reincarnation eye mantra ability again. I'm Rosa. The power of the rules of the Samsara Eye is still very powerful, and Luo Sha admits his true name again. No way, you can't be Luo Sha. Otsutsuki Hagoromo couldn't accept this answer. He could accept that he was defeated by the time traveler, but he couldn't bear to be defeated by Rasa from the ninja world. Luo Sha was speechless, but had no intention of explaining Otsutsuki Hagoromo's doubts. The immortal of 6 paths is even less capable. Bullying him and restraining Otsutsuki Hagoromo with his body, this farce should be over. Luo Sha, use that move to completely defeat him and save the world. Luo Sha nodded, and the 9 electromagnetic seeking jade turned into a black hole and then merged into one. Luo Sha now has the authority of the 6 paths immortal and is more familiar with the moves. In addition, his own strength is close to the 6 paths advanced. The power of the black hole is now increasing exponentially, and it emits terrifying power the moment it condenses. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was really scared this time. He could feel that he would definitely be killed if he was hit. However, now the immortal of 6 paths is tightly restraining him, making it impossible to avoid him. At this moment, he finally felt Momoshiki swallowing Jinshiki and Urashiki. Although there was no Kaguya, 3 Otsutsuki were enough. Don't underestimate me. I have swallowed 4 worlds and 4 time travelers. My methods are more than that. How do you think I can travel through parallel worlds? That's because the time traveler who was first killed by Otsutsuki Hagoromo had the artifact of time travel. A Magatama emerged from the body of the 6 paths sage, breaking through the space in the sky, leading Otsutsuki Hagoromo to the super-gravity space, and immediately used the black hole to severely damage the transformed Momoshiki. Then he swallowed Taoshi and completely restored his full strength. End of this chapter. Chapter 247. Listen to my order and run. Chapter 247. Listen to my order and run. Otsutsuki Hagoromo looked around. Except for the sage of 6 paths, no one showed surprise. Luo Sha had even expected that he would swallow the 3 of Otsutsuki. Thinking of being teased by Luo Sha just now, he said angrily, "Luo Sha, I hope you can be as confident as before. The strength has returned to its peak. It is not the 6 advanced levels that were forcibly promoted just now, but the real 6 advanced levels. It is even just a hair away from breaking through. In the current ninja world, I have nothing to fear. Luo Sha, no matter how powerful your calculations are, I will let you know that under absolute power, all calculations are useless." Others didn't know why, but the 6 paths sage, who was also a senior 6 paths master, was really panicked. Even the Otsutsuki Hagoromo he faced last time was not that strong. This was no longer something that everyone could resist now. Not even myself. Rasa, you're confused. Why didn't you just launch a black hole attack in time and let him devour Otsutsuki Momoshiki? The sage of 6 paths could sense that Rasa was fully capable of stopping Otsutsuki Hagoromo before he swallowed Momoshiki, but he didn't, and instead deliberately let Otsutsuki Hagoromo swallow Momoshiki. There is no point in pursuing it. That's all, run away. Luo Sha can take as many people as he can. Leave the ninja world and the earth immediately. I will try my best to buy you time. None of you can run away. There was an extra scroll in Otsutsuki Hagoromo's hand. After throwing it out, the entire space was blocked. I took this from a certain time traveler. As long as it is activated, the space will be blocked and none of you can escape. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was extremely proud. In the past, he had traveled through every parallel world very smoothly. Only this time, he almost gave himself up. No one could escape. He had destroyed this world. Peace of mind. Luo Sha comforted the immortal of 6 paths, and then said to everyone follows the plan, let's run. Otsutsuki Hagoromo and 6 paths sage were confused. Otsutsuki Hagoromo thought Luo Sha was going to resist and attacked him with all his strength. I thought I'd just let you see the true strength of my Otsutsuki Hagoromo, but you ran away. But the space is blocked by yourself. Where are you going as a result? It was shockingly discovered that Rasa was really running. Not only Rasa was running, but also Kaguya, Hamura, Shin, Jugo, Uchiha Madara, Gaara, and others. It's like rehearsing it in advance. It was indeed rehearsed in advance, because the space was blocked. Otherwise Luo Sha would pretend everyone was in the power of the gods and run away. Except for the confused sage of 6 paths. Fortunately, the space was large enough and it was a super-gravity space. Kaguya's backhand reduced the gravity for everyone and gave Otsutsuki Hagoromo the maximum gravity. Although the impact on Otsutsuki Hagoromo was minimal, the blessings from everyone were real. Even Kimimaro, who has not entered the 6th path level, can still run very fast. After everyone had disappeared, Otsutsuki Hagoromo finally realized that only the sage of 6 paths and himself were left staring at each other. There is no point in killing someone who cannot be killed. The one he hated most was Luo Sha, so he immediately went after Luo Sha. I want to run now. It's too late! Exclamation in a space. Where can you run? 6 paths sage immediately went to stop him, but was immediately beaten away by Otsutsuki Hagoromo. However, it was not easy to catch up with Rasa. Kaguya's multiple times of gravity still had an impact on Otsutsuki Hagoromo, but Rasa ran very fast with the help. Can't catch up at all. Even if you have the upper hand, why are you so frustrated? The corner of Otsutsuki Hagoromo's mouth twitched, but this time his strength was completely restored and there was no such thing as being consumed. Luo Sha, you made a wrong calculation. And if you, Luo Sha, can't catch up, why can't I, your men, catch up? Knowing what Rasa was like, Otsutsuki Hagoromo changed direction and chased Jugo, who was the slowest. However, seeing that Jugo was about to be overtaken, Murasaki turned around, picked up Jugo and left. Originally, the Taijutsu ninja was the fastest. Even with a person, he was faster than Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Otsutsuki Hagoromo had no choice but to change direction and chase Kimimaro, and Kai from Hammon followed suit. Others were not slow, so it would take some time for him to catch up. He couldn't help but said angrily, Luo Sha, is it interesting for you to hide here and there like this? It's just delaying the arrival of death. If you take the initiative to come here now, I can give you a good time. Otsutsuki Hagoromo, you don't really think I'm just running away. You better take a look at yourself. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was a little surprised. Rasa was not a big talker. It was impossible for him to know that running away was pointless in the current situation. So what was his plan as a result? The next moment, the chakra in his body began to conflict, and a voice sounded in Otsutsuki Hagoromo's mind. Damn Otsutsuki Hagoromo, how dare you plot against me and think I can be eaten by you so easily? It was Taoshi's backlash. Otsutsuki Hagoromo quickly used his power to suppress Momoshiki, but seeing how strange Otsutsuki Hagoromo was, how could everyone let go of such a good opportunity? All members attack from a distance, don't get close. Reminding Shiro and Kai, who wanted to get closer, they fired the railgun first. Gaara followed up by sending out a golden ray. Hamura sent out a golden reincarnation explosion. The others used the seeking dade to attack, and Kaguya and Kimimaro sent out a ash bones. Otsutsuki Hagoromo defended himself with the Kyudadama, but Momoshiki's counterattack was far greater than he thought. The defense was broken, and various attacks fell on Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Damn it, Momoshiki, do you want to die together? Wouldn't it be better to become my power and let me kill everyone for you? I would rather die with honor like a warrior, Otsutsuki Hagoromo. People like you are not worthy of letting me be your strength. Otsutsuki Hagoromo is helpless. He also wants to suppress Momoshiki, but Momoshiki is not easy to suppress. Many attacks fall on him and require chakra repair, especially Kaguya's ash bones, which are not so easy to eliminate. Looking at the 9 Tao-seeking jade raised by Luo Sha who came closer, they turned into black holes again. Otsutsuki Hagoromo said in disbelief, "Did you expect this situation?" Luo Sha shrugged. "Honestly, I never believe that you will sincerely cooperate with Momoshiki and the others. People like you should just believe in yourself. We are here on Earth, and devouring them is your only choice. Did you also expect Taoshi's resistance? 6 Paths said that you have not swallowed Momoshiki in every world. Chakra fruit is no worse than the origin of the ninja world since you dare not swallow it. It means that Momoshiki must have something you are afraid of. Now it seems I guessed it right, didn't I? More than just a guess. It may be because he is from the Otsutsuki clan, and Momoshiki's higher bloodline concentration naturally suppresses Otsutsuki Hagoromo, so he will not devour Otsutsuki Momoshi until the end. But this time, I didn't expect that the severely injured Tashi would have such a strong backlash. If it were in the outside world, I could hide far away and slowly absorb it, but now I have no chance. And if he hadn't used the space props, he would have been able to escape. It would have really shot himself in the foot. That one named Luo Sha, your attack is very strong. I agree with you. Come on, I don't want to be absorbed by this person. Use your black hole to give me a good time. As you wish." The black hole fell and completely swallowed Otsutsuki Hagoromo. End of this chapter. Chapter 248. Of course I'm going to save you. Chapter 248. Of course I'm going to save you. The black hole swallowed Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and its power was far stronger than before. Even people in the distance could clearly feel the devouring and destruction coming from above. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was still struggling to his death, constantly taking out strange props snatched from the hands of parallel world travelers. Although there were many useful ones, they were still unable to resist the huge suction of the black hole. Especially since Momoshiki has been cooperating to cause trouble for Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Otsutsuki Hagoromo looked desperate for the first time. Why shouldn't the one who can kill the time traveler be the so-called protagonist? Suddenly Luo Sha's words appeared in his mind. The moment he admitted that he was false, had he already lost? Thinking of the world that was destroyed by me, is the despair that people felt at that time the same as my own? No, the power of the 6 paths was consumed rapidly, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo gave up struggling, allowing himself to be swallowed by the black hole, and at the same time gave up swallowing Momoshiki. A sudden change occurred, and just when Otsutsuki Hagoromo gave up resistance, suddenly the entire space seemed to have been pressed on the pause button, and everything turned into an old blue. Momoshiki activated the time pause, and the black hole's suction was also suspended. The soul turned into the form of a wedge, flew out of Otsutsuki Hagoromo's body, and flew towards Kimamero's body. He is a member of the noble Otsutsuki clan, so he naturally has the means to put himself to death and survive. Moreover, he was briefly swallowed by Otsutsuki Hagoromo and actually discovered the existence of a parallel world, so he couldn't die. Keep your body to find the god of the Otsutsuki clan, Otsutsuki Shibaju, and revive the Otsutsuki clan. Kimamero was the only 3 people at the scene who were not at the 6th path level. Compared to Zai Luo and Kai's single cells, they were safer. But just as he was halfway there, Luo Sha suddenly appeared in front of him, raised his hand and activated his repulsive force to fly his soul away. In the blue world where time has stopped, Luo Sha, the only normal color that can move, is extremely eye-catching. Stopping time was Taoshi's last resort. Now he doesn't have much fighting power. He said to Luo Sha in disbelief, "How is it possible? Why can you still act? Time has never stopped. This is a power of time that is more advanced than the power of space. Even if Luo Sha is stronger than himself, he cannot ignore the power of time. Unless Luo Sha's strength surpasses the 6th level, Luo Sha's performance does not look like a master beyond the 6th level. That is the state that Otsutsuki Shibaju, the god of Otsutsuki, has only reached. Luo Sha is really above the 6 paths, and he can be killed by clapping his hands, so what calculations are needed? I knew you were not that easy to deal with. The Otsutsuki clan really cannot be underestimated. Fortunately, I have been guarding you. The power of time may be very strong, but it is not unsolvable. Rasa has never relaxed her guard against Momoshiki. Although Momoshiki was swallowed, she is not dead. Even Otsutsuki Hagoromo can cause trouble, so how could he be completely powerless to fight back? On the surface, you are asking yourself to cooperate, but in fact, you are asking yourself to relax your vigilance. At the moment when time was activated, Luo Sha, who had become more and more advanced in electromagnetic training, immediately felt the anomaly in the space. In an instant, he cut the space he was in, making his space independent of the entire gravity space. Although it is said that the power of time is stronger than the power of space, it also depends on the level. As a life-saving skill, there is no chance to practice the time-stopping peach move. It is equivalent to a solidified time skill. It is LV1 if it is sustained to death. And Luo Sha practices electromagnetic power every day, and also integrates many Sharingan powers of space power. His mastery of the power of space has already reached level 4 or even level 5. Taoshi's time stops the entire space, but it cannot stop Luo Sha, which is independent of space. But there's no need to explain it to Momoshiki. He won't understand even if he explains it. Goodbye, I should say never again. Once again, he accurately hit Taoshi back into the black hole. In my world, there is no such thing as laying mines and leaving behind troubles. Time flowed again, and everyone was surprised to find that Rasa had changed places, and Momoshiki's soul roared Rasa unwillingly, and was then swallowed by the black hole before Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Everyone immediately understood what happened. Luo Sha prevents Momoshiki from stopping time and prevents everyone from becoming a parasitic wedge for Momoshiki. They all have information about Momoshiki, but they have always had a headache about Momoshiki's time power move. After all, Urashiki's time regression can be used, and you may not even know whether Momoshiki's move is useful or not. Therefore, all those left behind are masters at or close to the 6th path level. Their strong mental power can sense whether they are being parasitized, and they will not know if they are not infected. The original plan was to kill whoever was parasitized together with the parasite. Now he was saved by Luo Sha again. Momoshiki's soul was swallowed and shattered by the black hole, and she died completely, leaving only Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Although Otsutsuki Hagoromo has given up resistance, his passive defense is still triggered unconsciously, slowing down the speed of being swallowed by the black hole. However, with Otsutsuki Hagoromo himself giving up, it is only a matter of time before he is completely swallowed. Everyone did not relax. In fact, if Otsutsuki Hagoromo tried his best to break free, he could get out of the black hole. However, his vitality was severely injured and Momoshiki's power was lost. His severely injured and weak state was nothing more than a sooner or later death. It would be better to be swallowed by a black hole than to be humiliated by Luo Sha. But just when he was about to be completely swallowed by the black hole, Luo Sha waved his hand to stop and eliminate the black hole. With most of his body broken, Otsutsuki Hagoromo said sadly, "Luo Sha, don't even think about humiliating me." He wanted to kill himself, but was defeated by Luo Sha again. He was so weak that he was bound by Luo Sha's placer gold and was unable to break free. At this time, the immortal of 6 paths stepped forward and said, "Luo Sha, what are you planning to do?" He has been confused since the beginning. He originally thought that the ninja world was over, but in the end, everything was planned by Luo Sha. The Sage of Six Paths really didn't expect Luo Sha to be able to take into account Momoshiki's struggle, and even be wary of Momoshiki's wedge. The overall situation is really settled now and there is no need to worry anymore. All he has to do is wait for his fate to come and the moment when time starts moving again. In fact, it was good to just let Otsutsuki Hagoromo be devoured like this, and there was no need to humiliate him. After all, he was himself in the parallel world, so he should be more decent if he could. Luo Sha did not answer the Six Paths Immortal, but smiled mysteriously and waved his hand behind him. Kaguya, Uchiha Madara, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo immediately surrounded him. The Immortal of Six Paths was even more confused. He and his mother had already reconciled, and they had already admitted their mistakes 2 days ago. What was this for at this time? Zai Luo and Kai brought the Six Paths sage to Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Rasa stood in front. Kaguya Otsutsuki stood behind Rasa. Madara Uchiha stood on the left, and Hagoromo Otsutsuki stood on the right. The Immortal of Six Paths was even more confused. Although he could easily break free from the clutches of Zai Luo and Kai, there was no need for these people to harm him. His mother and brother were also there. Besides, even if they really harmed him, how could they harm a dead person? Luo Sha, who do you want to do? Luo Sha said, "What are you doing?" "Of course I am saving you, let's do it." End of this chapter. Chapter 249. It turns out you are really Luo Sha. Chapter 249. It turns out you are really Luo Sha. Following Luo Sha's order, a huge sand gold eye appeared in midair. The eyeball looked like the giant reincarnation eye of the Otsutsuki clan. Then Kaguya's samsara eye on top of her head emits power and merges into Rasa's sand gold eyes. Otsutsuki Hagoromo's eyes become the Sansagan, which also merges the power into Rasa's sand gold eyes. Finally, Uchiha Madara's eyes turn into Mangekyo Sharingan. The eye also incorporates power into it. In an instant, Rasa's golden eye that merged with the huge reincarnation eye burst out with powerful power, even stronger than what Otsutsuki Hagoromo had just exploded. There is already a vague power above the Six Paths level, using the golden eye as the medium, the power of reincarnation, plus the destiny of the Sharingan. The golden eyes emitted 2 huge beams of light, one shining on Otsutsuki Hagoromo's body, and the other shining on the Six Paths sage. Otsutsuki Hagoromo was too weak to resist, and now he was wondering what Luo Sha was going to do if he left him behind. He originally thought he was going to humiliate himself, but it seemed to have something to do with the Six Paths sage. When Rasa was ready, Kaguya, Otsutsuki Hagoromo, and Uchiha Madara fused the power of the Samsara Eye, the power of the Reincarnation Eye, and the power of the Sharingan together. They vaguely felt something was wrong. This power is so powerful, it is definitely above the Sixth Path level. Now that it shines on him, he is no longer afraid. Otsutsuki Hagoromo can feel that this power can wipe him out. Literally wipe it out. If he really exerts it with all his strength, all traces of his existence will be erased. Feeling the strong power, Luo Sha knew that she had guessed correctly. The power of reincarnation of the Samsara Eye, the power of reincarnation of the Tsangana Eye, and the power of writing of the Sharingan Eye are 3 combined into one. They have the power to rewrite destiny and are also the key to saving the Six Paths sage. But this thing can only be used once, so there is no chance of error. Anyway, the worst result is that the Immortal of Six Paths dies again. Let's try it just in case it saves her life. Not now. The Immortal of Six Paths was also surprised. With the power coming from his 3 eyes, he could feel that Luo Sha could kill him now. It's really killing, cutting off one's own pause time to kill forcefully, but it's meaningless. The meaning is that what can be killed can be saved. Translate cause and effect. Luo Sha shouted loudly, and the next moment, the power of reincarnation, and wheel writing were activated through the sand gold eye. Everyone could see that there was a wave of energy that could not be seen but could be felt on Otsutsuki Hagoromo's body. The power of destiny, the immortal of six paths too. Then Rasa controlled the exchange of the power of destiny between the two, and transferred the fate of Otsutsuki Hagoromo to the Sage of Six Paths, and then transferred the power of destiny of the Six Paths Sage to Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Then the Six Paths Sage suddenly became extremely weak and scarred, and although Otsutsuki Hagoromo became intact, his whole person's vitality disappeared, just like a dead person. Through reincarnation, and reincarnation, the fates of Otsutsuki Hagoromo and Six Paths Sage were exchanged, and it was Otsutsuki Hagoromo who was destined to die. Kai and Zai Luo immediately took the seriously injured Six Paths Sage out of the range of Otsutsuki Hagoromo. Don't be afraid, he can't kill anyone now. Inheriting the fate of the Sage of Six Paths, Otsutsuki Hagoromo has become the same as the Sage of Six Paths, unable to kill. As for being killed, it may not have been possible before, but now the three eyes controlled by Rasa can kill him. But unexpectedly, Otsutsuki Hagoromo knelt on the ground in pain. A black aura came out of his body. He was extremely disgusted with Otsutsuki Hagoromo, who was destined to die. After scanning around, he flew towards Luo Sha. Come over. Otsutsuki Hagoromo quickly stretched out his hand and shouted, "Be careful, that is the power of the system. Once it is contaminated, you will be bewitched by it." Otsutsuki Hagoromo remembered that after he killed the time traveler, he was slowly affected by this black energy, doubting the world, and finally destroyed the world. Not only his own world, but also other worlds are the source of his own darkness. Boundless regret hit his heart. Otsutsuki Hagoromo rushed towards the black energy, trying to lock the black energy into his body again. Rasa activated her repulsive force to stop Otsutsuki Hagoromo, shaking her head and laughing. What a joke. I have multiple status bonuses now, so what about the power of the system? Even without Otsutsuki Hagoromo's reminder, Luo Sha would not let this black energy enter his body. The golden eye burst out with light, shining on the black air. The black air seemed to have met its nemesis and was gradually evaporated and shrunk. It immediately begged, "It's the power of fate, no. We can serve you as our master, we are incomplete. Rules, let us integrate into your body, we can make you stronger. Do you think I care about you? Increase the irradiation of the beam, and the black gas will evaporate more quickly. Do you understand what the power of rules is? Without us, you would not be able to advance above the sixth path level. Please, you all have incomplete rules. As a system, you were killed by Otsutsuki Hagoromo. You controlled Otsutsuki Hagoromo to kill several worlds, but you are still so high and low. If you don't achieve anything by fooling people, who will give you the confidence?" Seeing that he couldn't fool Luo Sha, several strands of black energy suddenly condensed into one. Although he still couldn't resist the light beam illuminated by the golden eye, he was faintly trying to break free. Otsutsuki Hagoromo rushed over again, swallowing up the twisted black energy. Luo Sha, they are fragments of the rules. They cannot be completely killed, they can only be purified. They cannot be restrained if they want to run away. Now that they are in my body, use your power to kill me. You can do it now. His eyes regained clarity, and he was no longer the Otsutsuki Hagoromo who wanted to destroy the world, but a Six Paths sage full of regret and unwillingness. Although I don't know the details, I can deduce from a few words that Otsutsuki Hagoromo is not born bad, but is gradually contaminated by the system. The power of fate has been activated, and it is of course impossible to reverse it. Now is not the time to be a holy mother either. Please help me, I am a sinner. The power of the system struggled to come out of the body, and Otsutsuki Hagoromo restrained it with all his strength, pleading with Rasa. Now, death is a relief for him. Everyone gathered around unconsciously, especially the Sage of Six Paths. They looked at Otsutsuki Hagoromo and didn't know what to say. "I'm sorry." Otsutsuki Hagoromo spoke first. The Sage of Six Paths shook his head. The thing you're sorry for didn't happen this time, so don't be so painful. No, I committed a crime, and it would be too easy for me to die like this. The eyes rotate, and some information is transmitted to the Six Paths Immortal, and some information is transmitted to Luo Sha. The bodies of both of them shook slightly at the same time. Luo Sha sighed. It was useless to say anything now. Death was a kind of relief. The power accumulated in the eyes exploded with all its strength. Otsutsuki Hagoromo trapped the black energy of the power of the system and evaporated bit by bit. With his death, the power of the system was purified into the purest rules and could no longer bewitch anyone. Feedback to world. Everyone, although it's useless, I'm still sorry. In this world, if you can, please help me. Then turn to Luo Sha. He said with a smile, I finally understand. It turns out you are really Luo Sha. 2 chapters today. End of this chapter. Chapter 251 The Whereabouts of Shiba Otsutsuki. Chapter 251 The Whereabouts of Shiba Otsutsuki. Father, have you decided? Do you have to go? Half a year after Temari succeeded the Kazekage, seeing that Temari was becoming more and more proficient in handling government affairs and that there were no other problems in all aspects, Rasa finally made a decision. Temari immediately objected. If you must go, I will go with you. Nonsense, you are Feng Ying now. Besides, I'm just going there temporarily and it's not like I won't come back. But that's another world. I have to correct you. They are in different places in the same world. You have also been to the moon. You should know that the universe is very big. Besides, I have to care about the last message left by Otsutsuki Hagoromo and I have to confirm it. Haha, sister, who told you to be Feng Ying now? Father, I can always go with you. Kankuro said gloatingly, but was blocked by Rasa. What are you thinking about? It's enough for Gaara and me to go. You stay to assist Temari. You can't leave Temari alone as a girl. No, father, why? Kankuro is about to cry but has no tears. In the normal timeline, he assisted Gaara, and now he assists Temari. I also want to adventure in another world. Don't be ridiculous. You must know that even with Otsutsuki Hagoromo's strength, he was seriously injured in that world. I am not here to play. During the Battle of the Moon, before his death, Otsutsuki Hagoromo not only conveyed a message to the Sage of Six Paths, but also to Rasa. That's a message from another planet. In fact, after Otsutsuki Hagoromo destroyed the ninja world, he did not immediately travel to the parallel world, but focused on the sacred tree fruit of the Otsutsuki clan. After all, the fruits of the sacred tree for so many years have been returned to the base by the Otsutsuki clan. Otsutsuki Hagoromo also belongs to the Otsutsuki clan after all, and swallowing chakra fruits can also increase his strength. Follow Momoshiki's memory to the planet where the Otsutsuki clan lives. However, all the fruits of the sacred tree have been dedicated to the statue of Shiba Otsutsuki in a memorial ceremony, which made Otsutsuki Hagoromo complain that natural resources were wasted. But the whereabouts of Otsutsuki Shibaju were also discovered. Otsutsuki Shibaju was seriously injured somewhere and needed a steady stream of sacred tree fruits to heal his injuries. As a god of the Otsutsuki clan, if he devours it, wouldn't he be able to break through the 6-level limit? So Otsutsuki Hagoromo spent countless time, crossing an unknown number of star fields, and finally sensed the location of Otsutsuki Shiba, and relying on his own strength, he descended into that world. In the end, he was defeated by the strong men of that world, and the physical injuries he suffered were also caused by that time. Only the origin of the 4 worlds can be healed. And that world, Luo Sha was also familiar with. It was the world of One Piece. The world of Naruto and the world of One Piece are in the same universe, but separated by countless light years and star fields. Shiba Otsutsuki is suspected to be in the world of One Piece. How could Luo Sha not confirm it? In particular, Otsutsuki Hagoromo passed the coordinates of the One Piece world to Rasa, without Rasa having to go through all the trouble of searching again. Over the years, Luo Sha has worked hard on electromagnetic power and finally broke through to the 6 advanced levels, which represents the power to control space more stably. Luo Sha tried it and was able to pass through the wormhole. After spending a lot of strength, he could reach the world of One Piece. However, because there are too many star fields across, even if there is a divine space, Luo Sha can only take 7 people. No matter how many people there are, if the wormhole becomes unstable, Luo Sha cannot guarantee survival. Explore in a different world gave the subordinates who were already too busy in the peaceful world a hope, and all of them wanted to go with Luo Sha. After final determination, Rasa was only going to take Gaara, Koso, Heikura, Kimamaro, Murasaki, Maki, Shiro, and Orochimaru. After all, the number of places is limited, and the combat effectiveness of Sunagakure village must be ensured. According to the message left by Otsutsuki Hagoromo, the shadow level can compete with the generals of the One Piece world, and above the shadow level, it can compete with the 5 old stars. The only one to be afraid of is Im, who has the strength of the 6 paths level. Among the people he brought with him, even Zhang Lu and Ma Jai were already at the level of generals. And what is the concept of a general in the world of One Piece? That is an existence that can walk sideways. Moreover, compared to the single ability of generals, ninjas, even blood-stained ninjas like Kimamaro who are only good at corpse veins, also know a lot of low-level ninjutsu. The applicability will only be stronger than that of the general. When the time comes, I will learn the 3-color domineering spirit. What's more, unlike Otsutsuki Hagoromo, who was arrogant and hostile to the world when he first came up, he had to take his time when he went to the One Piece world. Under the premise of looking for Otsutsuki Shibaju, explore the truth of the matter. Among the people he led, Gaara was the strongest at the 6 paths level. Although Zhang Phosphorus is at the shadow level, he is good at sealing techniques and can draw seal scrolls. He is a strategic level existence. Both Yi King and Kimamaro are inseparable from Rasa, and they are both 1 step away from the 6 path level. They may be able to find opportunities to advance in the pirate world. Zai Luo is interested in the physical skills of another planet, and One Piece is a world with strong physical skills, so Zai Luo is definitely worth the money. Ma Jai is an all-rounder. With Scorpion and Centipede left behind, Ma Jai's puppetry skills are not as good as those of the 2, but they are still at the master level now. What's more, if he wants to develop, Ma Jai is a must. Shiro was chosen because of his combat power and the vacant spot. It was supposed to be Yashimaru, but Yashimaru's strength was a little inferior, so Shiro was chosen. Orochimaru is a condition that Luo Sha has promised a long time ago. If there is something strange, he will definitely bring Orochimaru with him. Orochimaru, who is proficient in genetic technology, should be able to play a big role. Facing the peaceful ninja world, Orochimaru, who had long been bored, immediately came to Sunagakure village without stopping after receiving the notice from Rasa. Go into another planet. There is nothing more challenging than this. After gathering together the starting team, everyone was still a little worried. Lord Luo Sha, maybe I should go and let Bai stay. Sai said. Don't worry, I didn't go to that world to declare war. With the information left by Otsutsuki Hagoromo, nothing will happen. Besides, now that I know that Otsutsuki Shiba lives in that world, it will always be a hidden danger if it is not solved. I don't want it to last for thousands of years. Then, suddenly one day Otsutsuki Shibaju came and destroyed the ninja world. Besides, I'm just going to explore the pirate world. If there is really danger, I can use the wormhole to come back at any time. If anything happens, I will call you over. Although I am strong, I am very afraid of trouble. You guys, I'm not sure I won't make fun of myself. Everyone still agrees with this. Master Luo Sha does not fight an unprepared battle. Besides, the wedding date of Ziluo and Yemu has been set. According to Master Luo Sha's character, he will definitely not let anything happen to Ziluo. Everyone said goodbye to their families one by one. Luo Sha entered the electromagnetic chakra mode, seeking Tao Yushin Shen to open up a wormhole, and then loaded several people into the divine power space and stepped into the wormhole. In the world of pirates, I, Luo Sha, am here. End of this chapter. Alright legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.